everybody, and welcome to Prague for the opening round of the SGP2 series here in the Czech Republic. We're in the Markéta Stadium here this evening. We have had a short rain delay. We have had a fair bit of rain throughout the afternoon, but we are set and ready to go racing very shortly. And it's a fabulous part of the world. This city has hosted plenty of Grand Prix in previous years. We're looking at the calendar for the Under-21 World Championship. We start here tonight in Prague, and then we move on to Cardiff in the UK on the 14th of August, and then we culminate at the beginning of October in Torun. But it's all about Prague and the Markéta Stadium this evening for the Under-21 World Championship. SGP2, the new era of Speedway, continues with Discovery Sports events. And now we're seeing the riders being presented to us, and we've got the young Bruno Belan, track reserve, coming forward. And generally Chris Louis alongside me, former Under-21 World Champion, of course. What a night this is for these youngsters.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Brings back great memories of my early days trying to win the Under-21s.
And now we've got a very special rider this evening, Selina Liebmann from Germany, the first young female rider to actually compete in a World Championship Speedway event, so a massive night for her. And we're seeing riders coming forward all the time now.
Gustav Grahn from Sweden, a young 18-year-old.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him ride. And now we've got Timi Salonen coming forward from Finland, and doing very well for Gorzów in the Under-24 side, really beginning to pull up some trees there.
Yeah, and 19-year-old Petr Chlupáč from the Czech Republic finished 5th in the World Under-21 Championship last year.
Good to see. And the next one forward is... and we're seeing Wiktor Szczemski come forward now, and he's a young 17-year-old Polish rider that quite clearly there's huge potential there, and there's no doubt the Poles are looking at him to really make some big strides this season.
Yeah, Wiktor Lampart, 21-year-old, his last shot at this SGP2, and finished 3rd in the World Under-21 Championship last year.
Yeah, must be looking for a win overall this time. Jonas Knudsen coming forward from Denmark, another rider that certainly is looking forward to this championship. Won the Youth Championship back in 2017, so has already a good CV.
Yeah, Jakub Miśkowiak, we've just seen him come on stage ahead of Mateusz, Cierniak, and two fantastically fast Poles. Jakub Miśkowiak, obviously the reigning World Under-21 champion.
Absolutely right, and we're looking at Swidnicki as well, 4th last year. And Kasper Henriksson coming forward, actually rode very well in the qualifying, Gislevad, his home country, and did remarkably well to come through that qualifying event.
Daniel Klima from the Czech Republic, 19-year-old, rides here in Prague, and for Gorzów in Poland, the Under-24s.
Jankovic, the first of 2 appearances here in the Markéta. He'll be riding as a wildcard tomorrow night as well, so Jan's got a very busy weekend to look forward to.
Yeah, Franciscus, quickest in free practice earlier today, 19-year-old Latvian. He's tasted the world stage with the Speedway of Nations in Manchester, the final last year.
He has indeed. And Kevin Juhl Pedersen comes up onto stage, another young Danish rider who won with a 15-point maximum in Daugavpils very recently. So there's our gladiators for this evening. Really excited about looking forward to seeing these youngsters really strut their stuff. Conditions possibly a little bit touchy early on, but we're dry now. Let's listen and pause for the Czech national anthem now. Well, a wonderful rendition of the national anthem there. And we are not too far away now from the action getting on with, and it is a big opportunity for these young riders. It's a big stage. Of course, we have a double-header. We have the Grand Prix tomorrow night as well here in the Markéta. And Chris, you know what this is all about, being an under-21 world champion in the past. I mean, this is sort of the embryonic stages of your international career, isn't it? And you really want to make your mark.
Yeah, you do, and it's great to see Discovery Sports Events, New Era, SGP2, bringing it to the big stage, bringing it to the Grand Prix tracks. You know, they're going to gain from those experiences, the bigger crowds, the bigger circuits, and yeah, they're going to be looking forward to this.
They are indeed. We're just looking at the lineup for the race meeting this evening. That's how the draw has worked out. We've got Gusts, Liebman, Henriksen, Chlupáč there, but I'm sure we're going to pick out some favourites. The favourites probably coming into tonight will be the Polish riders. They are riding at a very high level. Jakub Miśkowiak in truth is the red-hot favourite. As the champion, will be looking to retain that. Not too many riders have done that in the past. Riders like Emil Saifoutinos have done it. Darcy Ward, yeah, so, you know, you've got to believe that he'll be keen to do something very similar. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you know, there's a few guys going to take the race team to him. I think Timi Salonen's going very, very well for Gorzow's under-24 team in Poland. He's really been impressing a lot of people out there. So Benjamin Basso been gaining a lot of experience racing in the UK now for the last couple of seasons. So, yeah, there's a few guys out there that are going to mix it up.
Yes, I agree with that. And Wiktor Lampart also, who's 21 now, so this is his last opportunity at this level. He finished third last year. I'm sure he'll be pushing on to try and win. Want to get off to a good start. As I said, we have had some rain here. Track conditions, they've worked awfully hard. Fortunately, it stopped raining, so we've had a 30-minute delay. We have had some sunshine as well. It's a cool evening. And how do you read the track? You know, what are your thoughts on that? You know, because obviously it will be maybe a little bit tricky early on.
Yeah, for sure. It is a little bit too wet to be ideal, but I think it's going to mature as the night goes on. I think it has dried out just enough to give us a dirt line on the outside rather than being too wet. You know, obviously, I think for maybe a half a dozen races, we won't really see the outside working too well. But the track's going to come to them. But certainly for these young guys in this first SGP2 event, they've experienced the extremes of track today with dust in free practice, slick, dry, dusty, and now pretty wet and sloppy on top.
Yes, first few races possibly a little bit sketchy, but if you can get away to a fast start, then that's going to help you enormously. Riders just beginning to get themselves ready for the opening heat of the night. And we've got a lineup of Swidnicki, Liebman, Basso and Henriksen. Of course, a lot of attention will be focused on Selina Liebman, the first female rider to be involved in a World Championship FIM event. And Chris, she scored 6 points in the qualifier in Daugavpils. She was riding in Poland last year. She rides in individual open meetings in Germany. But this is a big step up for her tonight.
Yeah, massive step up for her, and a lot of pressure on her. You know, she's had a lot of media attention coming in to this meeting tonight, being the first female rider to race in a world FIM staged event. So yeah, a lot of pressure on her, but she says that she's relaxed and she can feed off that pressure and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've seen her smiling and she seems pretty relaxed and excited about the challenge rather than being too nervous. But there's no question now, with a helmet and goggles on and ready to be pushed off, she will have some butterflies in her stomach, as will the other three. Of course they will. This is a big stage, an opportunity to really put your case forward, further your career at the highest level. And SGP2 about to burst onto our screens, and there's no doubt that there'll be plenty of excitement, nervous excitement in the pit area as we wait for these four riders to enter the stage, as it were. We are just about ready to get on with it, and it won't be too much longer before we see them come out onto the track. One or two last-minute preparations, but this weight as a rider, Chris, this is always a nerve-wracking. You just want to get on with it now.
Yeah, particularly at the start of the new series, the new era. It's a big night for these guys, so yeah, looking forward to seeing who comes to the fore. I think gate positions in the early heats certainly are going to play their part. I think I can see the inside gates possibly being a slight advantage.
Yeah, looking down from our commentary position, gate one does look a little drier than the other three. Time will tell whether that proves to be an advantage. they've given the all clear now, so riders now being pushed off and they're making their way towards the track. And for the first time this evening we see riders appear, and that's a great sign indeed. We were a little concerned earlier on this afternoon when it was raining fairly hard, but the weather's been kind to us so far this evening. And Mateusz Swidnicki there in the red helmet colour, Selina Liebman there in the blue helmet colour. It'll be interesting to see how she gets on, but quite possibly the inside gates could be of some advantage in the early stages here. We'll wait and see. Riders already up at tapes, and Kasper Henriksen there, who I've got to say rode in the toughest qualifier. There's no doubt that the one in Sweden in Gislaved was the hardest qualifier, and it came through in flying colours there in a runoff, beating the likes of Jakub Miśkowiak in a runoff, so quite clearly had a smashing evening there. Can he reproduce that sort of form here this evening? Benjamin Basso there just having a few last-minute adjustments to his rear chain. Riders, as always, up at tapes, doing a little bit of gardening and trying to find a decent spot. And Henriksen there on the outside, yellow helmet colour, just finding a good rut to try and fire out of there. Not too much longer now. We got 43 seconds to go before they must be at tapes. Otherwise, the referee tonight is Artur Kuszmerys from Poland, and they are all there now. So, not too much longer. The lineup for heat number 1 then. On the inside, we've got Swidnicki in red. Alongside him, we've got Liebman in blue in gate 2. Gate 3 is Benjamin Basso in white. And on the outside, in yellow, is Kasper Henriksen for the opening race in the SGP2 series here in the Markéta this evening. Prague. We've been coming here since 1997, 28 visits. It's a record, and has been a very popular venue with a smashing city also for the supporters to visit. So settling down then for heat number 1. Green lights on, away they go. And Swidnicki on the inside has made a super start there. Man in a red helmet colour, terrific there. Benjamin Basso coming through into second place. Henriksen in third. Liebman at this early stage is out the back. But as we sort of predicted there, Chris, there's no question that Swidnicki away from the inside, being charged hard and chased hard by Basso in second place, but Swidnicki controlling things out in front.
Yeah, I had a feeling that gate 1 was going to be a slight advantage in the early part of this meeting. A little bit drier, as you said, and they bolted away from the start. Great reaction, and really got the bike pulling forward, and this race has settled down now with Basso just settling for second place. I think there's going to be plenty of material flying. I think it's just leaving a little bit of a distance there, keep some view for the goggles there, because it's tough in these conditions until you move this top surface off.
It is indeed, but Basso's ridden a good line. He's come under pressure from Basso, but it looks like with 1 corner to go in heat number 1, the opening race of the SGP2 series. He runs wide, very wide indeed. It gets tight, but he hangs on. And Mateusz Swidnicki wins right from the get-go there. Super start. Got a little bit nervy around that last corner, but he hangs on for a fine win and 3 points to his name. Benjamin Basso back in second place. And Kasper Henriksen in third, but Swidnicki there taking full advantage of the inside gate. And was a little sketchy on that last corner there, Chris.
Yeah, just a little, you know, 4 laps and the track has just rutted up that little bit. He's trying to keep it smooth, doesn't want the bike to pull too hard and then have to make a sudden adjustment because you can easily go down.
So the winner in the opening race is Swidnicki. He gets the 3 points. Benjamin Basso back in second place, 2 points for him. Kasper Henriksen in third with 1, and Selina Liebman this time misses out. But for that man, the ideal start to his campaign. We see it again.
Yeah, perfect start for Mateusz Swidnicki. He's great start there, really pulls clear to the corner. Fantastic stuff. Basso, really good move, cuts back from gate 3, but just can't find that run up the inside of him, and the race settles down. But it certainly was all about that man, Mateusz Swidnicki on the inside in red there. Just a super start from him. Got a little bit sketchy towards the end of the race, but the track will cut up. I think for probably half a dozen races we're going to see the track actually deteriorate for a while as the ruts appear, and then it will smoothen out as we go by.
Yeah, I just thought he'd run a little bit too wide there. Yeah. I thought he might have thrown it away, but he hung on, and he'll be delighted with that. So a smashing start for him. We're up to heat number 2 straight away. I fancy we will press on this evening. There's no question about that with weather around. But this time we've got a big-looking race here with three Polish riders out here, and Francis Gusts, who was quick in practice, just for good measure. The man on the inside, Mateusz Cierniak, and he'll be looking to take advantage of that. Would have been buoyed by the fact that Swidnicki had made a great start from there in heat number 1. Here comes the world champion at this level, the under-21 world champion, Miśkowiak. So, heat number 2 then, on the inside is Mateusz Cierniak in red. Gate number 2, Jakub Miśkowiak in blue. Gate number 3, Francis Gusts in white. And off the outside, the 17-year-old Wiktor Szymski, who has certainly caught the eye of plenty of the public and promoters around Europe, riding great guns. So a terrific lineup here for heat number 2. There'll be some nerves for Miśkowiak. He is the man to beat. He is the red-hot favourite. So the green light's about to come on. Here we are now. Tapes are up. Oh, crikey, Gusts missed the start completely there. Terrific start. Red light's on. Yeah. Clearly an unsatisfactory start. I'll tell you what, it did Francis Gusts a big favour there, because he was literally left napping on the start. Possibly some movement on the outside from Szymski.
Szymski was the one that moved, maybe just slightly anticipated the start there.
Yeah, clearly we'll see the replays again and just nail that down for you. Here we go, Chris.
Yeah, let's look at the rider in yellow on the outside. It looks like he's anticipating. Yeah, he's taken 2 little nibbles at that. Yeah, good call from the referee. Certainly got an advantage from it. Looking at it again.
It upset Francis Gusts, didn't it?
Yeah,
he completely missed it.
Yeah.
I thought for a moment he'd forgotten to drop the clutch when he did, actually. But he was off put by the fact that the rider on the outside, he'll be given a warning for that.
Yep.
And we'll be expected that to be confirmed fairly shortly. The race director for the SGP2 series is René Schaefer from Germany, so quite possibly he'll be conducting affairs down there at the pit gate, where the riders have just gone back for a few running repairs, or not repairs, but just a few adjustments before
there'll be a little bit of clutch calling going on and
honest, Chris,
sorting out the change.
Sorry to jump all over you, but we've only got 40 seconds before the restart of the race, so
yeah, referee very quick to get those 2 minutes back
so
on.
Clearly the riders will have to get a hurry up and get themselves back round to the start. Just a little bit of nerves there from the youngster on the outside, Szymski. Understandable, of course. At 17, yeah, my nerves would have been jangling as well. So he'll have to be a bit more disciplined this time. If he does the same again, then unfortunately he will be then excluded from the race.
So, you know how it is, wet conditions, track's rutting up, you want to get across from gate 4, you really don't want to take all of the dirt from 3 riders in front of you when you hit that first turn.
So second time of asking then. Cierniak, Miśkowiak, Gusts and Szymski from inside to out. Green light's about to come on. Oh no, Star Marshal's not happy.
He's been excluded, I think, on the 2 minutes. He wasn't there when the clock was counting down harsh, but where do you stop? You have to go by the clock. Tough start.
Well, that's a disastrous start there for Wiktor Szymski. Moving and then just not getting himself quite prepared in time for the restaging of heat number 2. And that's a terrible shame, but I've got to say that there's now going to be a further delay.
Yeah, and there was actually a member of track staff on the track, so they couldn't have actually gone anyway. That was harsh.
It is very harsh. I do believe that we will now get a track reserve coming out here. Quite well be
Kaminek, I would think.
Kaminek will be coming out, yeah, the 16-year-old. He'll be coming out for his... excuse me, no, he's not 16, he's 17, so still very young. And they will have to wait patiently for the next rider to actually prepare himself. And Mateusz Kaminek should be the rider that is going to appear. Here he comes now. I hope he's got the right helmet colour on. Yes, he has. So he makes his way round to the start line for what has now been a longer delay. That seems quite harsh, that, to be honest, when you may have missed being actually present on the start line by a second. But here we see the restaging. On the inside, Cierniak in red, Miśkowiak coming out of gate 2 in blue, Gusts coming out of gate 3 in white, and the reserve rider, Mateusz Kaminek, coming out of there in yellow, gate 4. Bit of a rush for him. I bet his heart rate's up through the roof at the moment, but we're now going to get on finally with heat number 2. Start marshal still being very, very fussy on the start line there. Looking up at the referee. Here we go now. Tapes are up and away we go. Inside gate working brilliantly once again. Cierniak makes the best of it round there.
The cutback.
Just coming through on the inside. It's tight with Miśkowiak down the back straight, and the reserve is packed up at the back. Miśkowiak all over the place going into turn number 3 as they charge towards completing the first lap, and that inside gate has worked a treat for Mateusz Cierniak. Certainly Gusts is really winding it on hard in second place. Jakub Miśkowiak was very untidy on the opening lap, Chris. I thought he was coming down.
Yeah, tough first lap for Miśkowiak. Just got in all sorts of problems as he entered turn 3 on the first lap. Francis Gusts had just got himself in front of him with a great first turn. The race is settling down now, but it seems to be slippery going into turn 3. Then they pick up some grip and run across the corner. Cierniak there with a mistake, but pretty much echoed by all 3 riders out in this race.
Yeah, Cierniak pushing on out in front, comfortable, looking good. And got to say that Miśkowiak has almost pulled up at the back. Gusts is hanging on. It's grippy around that bottom corner. Riders really having to hang on to the bike. But Cierniak wins. From the tapes to flag, good ride from him. A little untidy at times, but he could dictate exactly where he was going. Miśkowiak comes through at a snail's pace to pick up 3rd place. Szymski, of course, was excluded. Had a bit of a drama there with also Kamenek also having some sort of mechanical failure as well. But so far, 2 out of 2 for the inside gate. And it's looking good. Just a little bit drier, shorter run to the first turn is paying big dividends. Track is, as you rightly said, may get a little worse before it gets better. Chain off. That's a shame for the youngster.
Yeah, obviously rushing around to get him out quickly. Mistakes can be made.
So the result of heat number 2 then, Mateusz Cierniak picks up 3 points. Francis Gusts, good first turn from him, picks up 2. Jakub Miśkowiak, untidy ride for the world champion in the first one, just 1 point. And Szymski, unfortunately, was excluded. And we'll see it again.
Tough start for the reigning under-21 world champion in blue here. Jakub Miśkowiak doesn't make a bad start, elects to run across the corner a little bit. Surprisingly, in these conditions, really want to keep it down low, and that allows Francis Gusts for a good run up the inside going into turn 3, which is where the bad run for Miśkowiak starts. He gets in all sorts of runners again there. He's just straightened the bike up. He's really not happy with conditions and the bike set up as it is. It's tough out there, and you can see as they enter turn 3 now on the first lap, Francis Gusts keeps the gas on.
Well, he was very determined there, wasn't he?
He just loses the front end as he goes to turn, then he gets a load of grip, and a horrible feeling as a rider.
I tell you what, he was lucky to stay on there.
He was, very lucky.
And he was out of shape, and it was a bit more luck than judgment, I believe. But certainly, Mr. Cierniak out in front was very impressive indeed.
Yeah, enjoying himself.
Really was, attacking conditions, and that's what you're going to have to do early on. If you're a bit timid, it could actually catch you out. But a good ride from him. Heat number 3. And we've got Jankovic here on the inside. The local man rides here, of course, for the Prague club. Knows this track like the back of his hand. He'll be looking to get away to a fast start. And there's no question that the inside gate in the opening 2 rides has been of an advantage. So heat number 3, Jankovic goes from the inside in red. Wiktor Lampart comes out of gate 2 in blue. Petr Chlupáč comes out of gate number 3 in white, and Juhl Pedersen will go from the outside in yellow. This will be the 3rd heat in the first block of races. Obviously we took a little bit of time to get through heat number 2 with the restaging and the exclusion, but fingers crossed we don't have too much of that. Green light is on now, the tapes are up, and once again the inside gate really is working a treat, and Jankovic has absolutely stormed to the front. Got a little bit out of shape, and he really has charged down the back straight there. Chlupáč coming through into second place. He's wide, he's very wide in that bottom corner. He's going to have to hang on. It's a Czech 1-2, very tight as they came out of turn number 4 on the opening lap. Got to say that really was a little bit untidy with Lampart coming through there, but look at Kvěch, attacking conditions, flying away from the inside gate, looking good out in front.
Looking very good, the former European under-19 champion. Looking very comfortable even in these tough conditions, unlike Petr Chlupáč, who's really been struggling. He seems to have settled down now, but very, very untidy first lap. Seems to be plenty of grip just as they go into turn 3.
Gracious me, how does Lampart stay up there? I really don't know. Again, more luck than judgment. He's a little bit more circumspect now. The track has really cut up.
Struggling.
He is indeed. And here we go, they're into the last corner, and Miśkowiak, who's going to be a busy man this weekend, wins on style. Delights the home crowd. It's a Czech 1-2 in heat number 3. Coming through in third place there was Pedersen, Juhl Pedersen coming through there with the mistakes from Lampart, and was quite a roller coaster of a ride. I don't know how he stayed up actually in turns 3 and 4. The bike looked like it was completely away from him. Miśkowiak missed all those fireworks behind him, that's for sure.
He'd be happy with that.
Well, Miśkowiak, yeah, he won the race, 3 points. That's he'd be delighted with it. And that inside gate, 3 out of 3 for that. The result then, Miśkowiak 3 points. Petr Chlupáč back in second place, 2 points for him. Kevin Juhl Pedersen gaining that 1 point after the mistakes from Wiktor Lampart, who was lucky just to finish the race in truth. But an exciting race, but probably for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's definitely the place to be out front, missing all the action, because the track is tricky. It is getting more and more difficult. Even Miśkowiak there, you can see him just lifting off the corner, collecting all the ruts, fairly even break off the start, but once again, gate 1 proves fruitful. And now each race the riders come out, they're almost under pressure to make sure they take advantage of that gate. You realise it's the best one and you can't afford to drop points there. But every rider in this race making a mistake or two, and that's the tricky conditions. As I said, they will get worse before they get better, but again, how does he stay on here?
It was on his knee there. It was on his knee. He's going backwards.
He's in reverse.
He was in reverse.
But that man there, no problem for him. Looking actually quite comfortable in these conditions.
Absolutely right. We're up at tapes for heat number 4 to complete the first block of races, and every rider would then have completed their opening ride. I'm not sure I would have been watching too hard in that last race with riders leaping around as they were, but as we've said, right, the line-up for heat number 4 then. Jonas Knudsen on the inside in red, Timi Salonen, the Finnish rider, coming out of gate 2 in blue, Daniel Klima coming out of gate number 3 in white, and off the outside is Gustav Gran in yellow. And the starting is going to be an absolute premium, particularly early on in this meeting. If you can hit the front, dictate where you want to ride, that really is going to be such an advantage. The inside gate has proved to be a big advantage in the opening 3 rides. The man in the pole sitter here is Jonas Knudsen, and the Danish rider now got to take advantage of it. Tapes are up and away we go. This time it's gate number 2. Salonen makes a great start from gate number 2. Knudsen back in second place, he hangs on there, and Gran coming round into third place. But Timi Salonen, who's been in fine form of late, really is going great guns out in front. Super opening lap from the Finnish rider.
Yeah, great coming from gate 2. If he can keep control of his bike in these tough conditions, he'll be the first winner that doesn't come off gate 1, but it's a great start from him. And the rider in red there, Jonas Knudsen's got fond memories of this track. Won the Youth Championship 250cc's here in 2017. So he'll have fond memories of that, but the track conditions are tough for these guys. I'm sure we're going to see a good grade up after this block of races.
Yeah, I do believe there'll be plenty of work on the track. They're into the last lap. Timi Salonen riding superb out in front, dictating where he wants to go. Riders behind really are struggling a little bit in truth. Got to say, Knudsen there in second place, just about hanging on to his bike. Klima also in third place, having all sorts of trouble, but Salonen wins. Just shows you how important it is to hit the front. Super start from gate number 2. Knudsen back in second place. And I do believe it was Klima that just about hang on there for third. But Timi Salonen, who we said previously has been riding very well, qualified well for this series. And he's beginning to make his mark at this level. And the first rider not to win from the inside, as you rightly say, Chris. So they'll be chuffed to bits with that. And in these difficult conditions, if you can get your nose in front, really is going to pay big dividends. So the result of heat number 4, Salonen picks up the 3 points. Jonas Knudsen back in second place, 2 points for him. Daniel Klima untidy in third place, but nonetheless is on the score chart. And Gustav Gran, well, just found it a little bit too much. So the winners in heats, the first opening heats, 3 points for Swidnicki, and Cierniak 3 points, Miśkowiak 3, and Timi Salonen also. Super rides from them. see it again, Chris.
Yeah, fantastic start from gate 2. Just managed to get over Knudsen there and plain sailing really from there. But we can see all the guys, left leg just for a little bit of extra balance is wide from the bike. In these conditions, you need to do that just to stop the bike from turning right as you collect the ruts. And to be fair, tough track conditions, very tough track conditions, and all these young lads staying on their bikes. So I think they've all made a fantastic start to the night. Look at that.
It is difficult. You know, the riders are actually being made to look a little
really
bit
struggling to get the bike turned
untidy. They were seeing it there with Grant running very wide indeed, and Klima also struggling to hang on to his bikes. But as you rightly say, you know, it's not easy, and these guys are hanging on and trying their very best. But you just sense that the track grading that's going to go on now will be of some significance, because it should just begin to smooth conditions out. But we have had quite an opening, exciting opening 4 heats. SGP2 underway, the opening round of 3 here in the Markéta Stadium. We will look forward to, of course, going to the Principality Stadium in Wales, and we'll be looking forward to that. We will get some reaction from the pits very soon. We do believe we can hear from Benjamin Basso right now.
Benjamin Basso, close to me. Benj, the first race just behind you. Could you tell us something about the track conditions, especially?
Yeah, actually the track wasn't that bad when I was out riding. The gates were actually a bit slicker than I expected, but like in my heat the track was actually fine compared to what I just saw the other guys going through.
In your opinion, is it a track that you can then overtake, and or is it really difficult?
Yeah, you know, the weather has been bad today, so like the conditions is the same for everyone, and if someone can pass out there, they can pass out there. It's the same for everyone.
Okay, what about the setup of your bike? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I think it's all right. You know, I feel like I closed the distance between me and number 1, so yeah, we're just going to keep it the same and then just make a gate instead. Okay,
thank you very much and good luck for the next races.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, terrific positivity there coming from Benjamin, that's for sure. And I've seen him riding in the UK this year, and there's no question he's a rider that's got a lot of confidence. And I like that attitude. I'd like his viewpoint. Same for everybody. You've got to get on with it.
Yeah, he's clearly not worrying about things that he can have no bearing on. You know, he's just got to concentrate on focusing on the start and riding the bike right. So yeah, great attitude and interesting track preparation. Right now, they've elected not to put the heavy machinery on the track, and they're just using rakes by hand to sort out some of the worst of the ruts. I'm surprised, but interesting onlooker there.
Yeah, Bartosz Marzlik in the pits, just keeping an eye on things. He'll be keeping an eye on, of course, on the young Polish riders and supporting them, encouraging them, I'm sure. We'll see a lot of action from him, of course, tomorrow in qualifying. Saturday lunchtime, don't miss that. He has dominated the qualifying so far with the 2 fastest times in the opening 2 Grand Prix. Still a little bit of work going on the entry to turn number 3.
Yeah, it's definitely the trickier spot. It is quite heavy going into turn 3.
Yeah, we've seen riders completely out of shape. In actual fact, it will look like an ice racer, Lampart, actually, as he was going in there with his knee on the floor. Did remarkably well. It was a Marc Marquez moment, wasn't he? He was actually on the floor. He was off the bike, really, but then he got back up again, which was a great save from him.
That's where Selina Liebman should have an advantage, because her father was an ex-ice racer, so plenty of advice for her, I guess.
Yeah, actually, her father actually was somebody I watched racing the ice racing, Jürgen, and was of a high standard. So.
Ever fancy to go on the with the spikes?
I have, actually, yeah. I've tested the bike, and then that was it. Thank you.
Okay, and, how many laps?
Well, we spent quite a lot of time riding. It was great fun on your own, but when you watched it with 4 of them out there, it looked a bit hairy.
Too many spikes coming at you.
Very much so. But as I say, riders now beginning to make their way out for heat number 5. 2 on the spin, of course, for Gustav Gran, who goes from the inside this time after going from the outside last time. We've got Petr Šulpek, who picked up 2 points in his first ride. He'll go from the outside. And we've got 2 heat winners in Swidnicki and Cierniak, also going from gates 2 and 3. So a competitive race here with 2 winners and a 2nd place. And something's got to give. We've seen a rider in Salonen win from gate number 2. track hopefully will be settling down a little bit, so these guys can just have a little bit more confidence to really race closely. As conditions improve, Chris, we will see that, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at the moment they're quite fearful to be close to each other. The conditions, particularly in turn 3, will catch you out. The entry to turns 1 and 2 is a lot easier. It looks a lot sort of more normal. It's quite slick going into turn 1, so that's a lot easier for them.
More normal, I like that.
More normal.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, turn 3 is not normal, Kelvin.
No, it isn't, and we've seen some fairly unnormal
yes.
movements there. So on the inside is Gustav Grahn, this time in red. Mateusz Swidnicki, first winner, first time out, goes out of gate number 2 in blue. Cierniak coming out of gate number 3 in white, and then Petr Chlupáč going from the outside in yellow. As I said, this is a competitive race with 2 heat winners in 2 and 3. And a second place for Chlupáč, first time out, going from gate number 4.
And Chlupáč was competitive.
He
a little
was.
bit out of shape, but he was competitive.
He was certainly giving it his best. Local rider, of course, Czech Republic rider, proud man. In front of his home crowd, wants to do well. Got off to a solid start, 2 points. You'll be pleased with that. They settle down now, heat number 5. Start marshal again, being quite fussy with riders. He'll look up at the referee now. Green light is on. Oh, impatient there.
Pressure.
Gustav Grahn there. Disappointing for him. He will be excluded for that, for touching the tapes. And we will see a reserve rider, and this time it will be Bruno Belan coming in to replace him. But that's a desperate feeling as a rider, isn't it, when that happens to you?
That's the pressure I was talking about. When you know a gate is an advantage, you just do not want to drop points from there, and he's obviously feeling that pressure. See again, it just jumps straight on. It just anticipating. You know, these riders, they watch every race, not just the starts that they're doing. They're watching every race and trying to work out the referee, how long is he going to hold the tapes for. And, well, on this occasion, he got it all wrong.
Yeah, but to be honest, these days, it's actually not the referee that determines when the tapes go. It's actually...
I assume they're using it this evening.
Yeah, I would think so. But nonetheless, bottom line is, unfortunately for Gustav Grahn, he's had a disappointing opening 2 races. He will fail to score from his 2 outings. And as I said, we will see Bruno Belan coming out now. He will go from the inside gate, which is none too shabby, actually. And, he'll be hoping to stay fairly disciplined on the start line. Here he is now. And Bruno Belan, a young rider from this part of the world, of course. He's a Czech Republic rider. Rides in Slaney in his home country. A rider that is 18 years of age. This will be his biggest moment in Speedway so far, that's for sure, in the SGP2 series.
It's his first season on a 500, so it's a big moment for him.
It is a very big moment for him, so he'll be hoping that he can take this challenge on. So, second time of asking, settling down for heat number 5 on the inside. Bruno Belan in red, gate number 2, Mateusz Swidnicki in blue. Mateusz Cierniak in white and gate number 3, and on the outside Petr Chlupáč, another Czech Republic rider, goes from there in yellow. A little bit of gardening going on there on gate number 3 from Cierniak. Sure, there's plenty of rivalry between the young Polish riders. Poland, where really is the headquarters of Speedway these days, and these riders actually are riding at a very high level as well, the young Polish riders, so they're accustomed to pressurised situations. So big heat number 5. Settling down, Star Marshal is now happy. No, he's not. Hesitating there. I mean, they are being rather fussy on the start line here. I don't quite know why that is, but pulling riders so close to the tapes. No, he's still not happy. Not sure what's going on here.
I think the cameraman maybe is just a little bit too far forward.
Okay. Right. Okay. And not quite what you wanted. Right, finally, now we settle down. Green light's on. Tapes are up and away we go. And Cierniak out of gate number 3. What a start from the outside there from Petr Chlupáč. Terrific run round the first corner. Absolutely superb from him. Cierniak was there. Got to say that Swidnicki's having all sorts of problems as well. But Petr Chlupáč out in front, winding it on. First time we've seen a rider. Oh, my goodness, Cierniak also out of shape as well in second place.
Yeah, as we were saying, they don't want to get too close to each other because the bikes are doing unexpected things at unexpected moments, and that was just one of them. But he's got 2 chevrons now, safe distance, so hopefully things will settle down, but he's not giving in. But Chlupáč, great from the outside.
Fantastic move around the outside from the Czech Republic rider. Oh, Cierniak running wide, very wide in turns 3 and 4. Thought for a moment he was going to run in the back of the leader, but he doesn't. He hangs on to the bike. But Chlupáč's going to move on to 5 points out of his opening 2 rides. It's well spread out. Conditions are very challenging, and you've got to give them a lot of credit. Chlupáč in particular was absolutely dynamite in the first corner. Roaring round the outside, first rider to win from there. And he'll be delighted. He punches the air there in delight. Got to say, that was a super ride from him. And Cierniak was certainly very much involved early doors. Swidnicki had all sorts of dramas throughout the race, and the youngster there, the track reserve Bilan, finding it very difficult indeed. But there's no doubt Petr Chlupáč looks very accomplished on the bike, Chris.
Yeah, he did. He looked a little bit more comfortable in that race than his first one, but and obviously getting the win is going to be a massive confidence boost for the local lad.
Indeed. So Petr Chlupáč there, just making his way back. Big smile on his face. You can see the excitement there. That's great to see. So the result then. Heat number 5, Petr Chlupáč wins for 3 points. Cierniak back in second place, 2 for him. Bruno Bilan picks up the 1, and Swidnicki actually misses out there after winning his opening ride. Mateusz Swidnicki really did have a disappointing run in his second outing, but that man...
Big smiles for Chlupáč.
Superstar.
Seeing from the start, again, it's a great start from Cierniak from the inside, but look at that from gate 4. That's great from Chlupáč. Obviously, local lad, knows the track well, and he'll be buoyed from this, coming from the outside gate. Don't really know what happened to Swidnicki there from gate 2. He struggled on the opening lap. Looks like he's shut the bike completely off there, and he looks like he's got problems. I don't know, I think it was a vision thing. The roll-offs or the tear-off not really working for him, but meanwhile, out front, Chlupáč looking a little bit more comfortable, but that man in white there, Cierniak,
my goodness,
has another big save.
But it could have been quite untidy, that. I thought he was going to clip the back of Chlupáč there as he charged into turn number 3. When we saw it the first time, but the camper delighted. Czech Republic boys are enjoying a Super Grand Prix with Kvěch winning his first ride. And we're up at tapes for heat number 6. On the inside, we've got Timi, Salonen, winner first time out in red. Jan Kvěch, a winner, also coming out of gate number 2 in blue. Selena Liebman coming out of gate number 3 in white. And off the outside, we've got Francis Gusts, who was also pretty impressive in his opening ride, picking up a 2-point return. So once again, riders now, Timi, Salonen on the inside. Rafael Dubroki, the Polish team manager, is here looking after his 4 representatives in the SGP2 meeting here this evening. Tapes are up and away we go. Terrific start out of gate number 2 there for Jan Kvěch. Hit that first corner around the outside. He's under a lot of pressure there from Francis Gusts
on the outside.
And Gusts is having a real go, but Kvěch has just about stayed in front as they go through turns 3 and 4 on the opening lap. I've got to say, Jan Kvěch, winner first time out, hanging on to his bike, a lot of grip there, runs very wide indeed, but he just about hangs on. Got to say, Gusts is there, challenging in second place. He can ill afford to make a mistake, Jan Kvěch. Into the next lap, looking good in front.
Looking good, but if he makes a mistake, Francis Gusts is right ready to pounce, but now it's Gusts with a mistake, running wide, having to turn the bike extra hard. Timi Salonen so fast in his first one, but not out in front in this one. It's hard from the back.
It is indeed. Jan Kvěch riding a strong line there. Just a little conservative round that first corner on the last lap. He's down the back straight. He's got a nice little buffer. He can take it easy through this last turn, holding the inside line. Gusts has ridden strongly in second place, but back-to-back wins for the Czech Republic rider. Jan Kvěch, determined away from gate number 2, and wins his second outing. Got to say, Francis Gusts tried all he could back in second place, but was looking for a mistake from the leader, but it didn't come. That man held it all together. Not easy tonight challenging conditions, and they're doing a remarkable job, these youngsters, in difficult conditions. It will improve, Chris, but right now they're having to use all the skills they've got in the toolbox.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be focused for all 4 laps.
Miśkowiak picks up another win, 3 points for him. Francis Gusts back in 2nd place, 2 for him. Timi Salonen back in 3rd place this time, 1. And Selina Liebman just finding it a little tough out there, fails to score. But for that man, Miśkowiak, looking pretty accomplished out there.
Looking very accomplished. Nice warm-up for the wild card for tomorrow night's meeting. And this is not the rerun of that race, but Chlupáč out front in this one. Here we go. And we can see there Miśkowiak pulling clear, coming under pressure from Francis Gusts in the opening laps. One mistake from Miśkowiak, but Francis Gusts just not quite close enough to take advantage of it. And once Miśkowiak settled down, it was all his.
Indeed it was. And he looked, as I said, he looked like a rider that really was very determined. And these are the sort of conditions that you need from that point of view. Patrick Dudek there, a keen spectator tonight. Of course, we'll see him tomorrow in the Grand Prix. We're back up at tape straight away for heat number 7. And some more big hitters here. Miśkowiak coming out for his 2nd ride, the champion, who was a bit untidy in his opening ride. He'll go from gate number 3. On the inside then, Wiktor Lampart in red. Gate number 2, Jonas Knudsen in blue. Jakub Miśkowiak will come out of gate number 3 in white. And on the outside, Benjamin Basso, who had a good opening ride. He'll go from there in yellow. And Basso, who was interviewed, we heard from him. And he certainly was very upbeat and positive when he was spoken to our friend Sebastian in the pits.
Yeah, the 2 Poles, Wiktor Lampart and Jakub Miśkowiak in this one, both surprisingly struggled in their opening rides.
Yeah, caught out by conditions, there's no question about it. The Great Dane is here, Hans Nielsen, of course, 4-time world champion. Keenly looking on, settling down. Heat number 7, away we go. It's tight to the first call. Lampart's made it from the inside. Riders going everywhere there in truth, but Lampart made the best of it through the first corner. Basso's come through into 2nd place in the yellow helmet colour, but it's out in front. Wiktor Lampart actually responding well from a disappointing opening ride. Looking good out in front. Benjamin Basso back in 2nd place. But Lampart stolen the march on the opposition here. Yeah,
pulling clear, looking reasonably comfortable as you can do in these conditions. And Knudsen with a strange decision on the first turn, having made a reasonable start to run out wide. And, well, Jakub Miśkowiak, who comes into this competition, I would say, as clear favourite, really struggling with conditions.
Yeah, he's out the back. He's going to have to wind it on. They're coming into the last lap now. And Wiktor Lampart just shows you how important it is to get in front, to be able to dictate terms. And Miśkowiak is all out of shape there, very nearly clouting the fence on the last lap. They're into the last corner. Wiktor Lampart out in front, riding really nicely, picks up a heat win here. He's followed home by Benjamin Basso in another solid 2nd place for him. But concern for Jakub Miśkowiak, a world champion there, clearly uncomfortable in these conditions. Possibly the weight of expectation just weighing heavy on the young Polish rider, the current champion. But for that man, Wiktor Lampart, I must say that was a good way to bounce back after a difficult opening ride.
Yeah, fantastic ride from him. Looked very accomplished out front. Kept control of his bike, and 3 points for him.
Indeed it is. And in 2nd place it's Benjamin Basso, 2 points for him. Jonas Knudsen back in 3rd, 1. And Jakub Miśkowiak missing out, so work to be done for the reigning champion. But for that man, Wiktor Lampart, yeah, he makes the best of it from that inside gate.
Yeah, Knudsen with a reasonable gate, but he just collects the rut, decides to go for the dirt line, and that hands a big gap there for the rider in yellow, Benjamin Basso, to cut back. But great way to respond from Wiktor Lampart, coming off gate 1 here in red. Failed to score in his opening ride, but settled down now and made a few bike changes, no doubt, to settle him into the conditions. Track is settling down, but it's still pretty tough out there.
Yes, I don't think it's far from easy, that's for sure, but there's no question, as you rightly say, failing to score first time out, and did well actually to stay on board at one stage, but this time out in front, just getting on the edge of that dirt and keeping it all under control. Jakub Miśkowiak there, crikey, late on in the race, he did well to stay on there and to avoid his opponent there just in front of him. He could easily have collected him and gone down, could have collected Knudsen there, but for this man out in front, determined to bounce back from the disappointment of his first outing, and does it in style. So we're up to heat number 8. This will be the completion of the second block of races. We've got Kasper Henriksson on the inside in red. Viktor Shemsky go from gate number 2 in blue. Kevin Juhl Pedersen will go from gate number 3 in white, and Daniel Klima will go from the outside in yellow, the third of the Czech Republic riders, and he'll be looking to pick up some valuable points here. But once again, Kasper Henriksson looking to try and make a really good jump from there, but Shemsky has had a disastrous start to the evening so far, so he'll be looking to bounce back now. Away they go, and Shemsky's made a smashing start from gate number 2. He flies into the first corner. Oh, he's out of shape there, out of shape twice, just about recovers. No, he doesn't. He slips back into second place, and all of a sudden Kasper Henriksson has hit the front. Riders going all over the place in that first corner. It was quite untidy, but certainly Kasper Henriksson completes the first lap. He's out in front. He's finding it difficult. He's run wide. He's run very wide indeed, and he dropped the lead, and all of a sudden it's all changed at the front, with Juhl Pedersen coming through to lead the race as they complete the second lap.
Yeah, Juhl Pedersen just taking advantage of everybody's mistakes out there. So many mistakes in this race. We're coming up to what I would think will be an extensive track raid. I'm sure they'll get the heavy equipment on, but we can see now, as the rider in red there, Kasper Henriksson looking for a way back past, just waiting for that big mistake.
Oh, Pedersen slowed up out in front. He was very tentative going through there, but he's winding it on down the back straight for the last time. Juhl Pedersen just about retaining that lead. Henriksson in second place, pushing hard, but Juhl Pedersen, as you rightly say, Chris, has taken full advantage of the opportunity presented to him, and he comes through to pick up a handy 3 points there. And the Danish rider will be pleased with that, and a touch relieved also that the race is completed. It was quite a harum-scarum heat number 8 with Henriksson back in second place. Shemsky's having a tough evening. I think that's possibly an understatement with Daniel Klima.
Understatement, I would say. He made a fantastic start, just couldn't get around the corners.
Bike was leaping around all over the place, but Kevin Juhl Pedersen there, delighted. And there's plenty of enthusiasm in the Danish camp, that's for sure. Hans Nielsen here, the team manager, keeping a close eye on his riders. The team are quite delighted with that. Kevin Juhl Pedersen, 3 points for him. Kasper Henriksson in second place, 2. Daniel Klima coming through in third place, 1 point for him. And Viktor Shemsky misses out this time after getting away to a smashing start. We see the point scores after 2 rides each. 6 points for Kvěch, looking really good. Cierniak riding hard for 5. Chlupáč 5. Pedersen coming through on 4. That was a handy win for him. And Timi Salonen with a win and a third place in 4th. And for riders below the top 8, of course, work to be done for them. Certainly Jakub Miśkowiak is a big name, just with 1 point to his name, and he's got to really dig in now.
Tough ride this for the rider in blue. Shemsky makes a super start, gets his front wheel over the line, covers any run there. There's his first mistake, and I think that just sets the tone for his entire race. I think he gets off the gas, and when you do that, you collect every single rut that's out on the track, and he certainly did that. After a fantastic start, the rider in white there, Kevin Juhl Pedersen, very close to his back wheel, and we can see that Henriksson took advantage first of all with a dive up the inside, but the mistakes just keep coming from Shemsky. He's had an absolute nightmare start to this meeting. Did well actually to hang on to the bike there, and you just don't know where to go in this race. People making mistakes left, right and centre.
But now generally tracks are fairly slick, so we've got a heavy surface here, haven't we? And it's inconsistent, so 1 or 2 of these lads are not that used to these type of conditions, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, the Polish riders in the field are probably most used to the different conditions, the pressure of the big meeting, but very tough for these guys out there right now.
Indeed it is. More racing coming up very shortly. So yes, 8 races completed, and every rider's had a couple of heats, and it's settling down nice. Jan Kvěch is unbeaten so far from the Czech Republic, and Petr Chlupáč also in 5 points. and it is looking good in second place. We'll be able to hear from riders very shortly from the pit area. So we will be able to hear from Selina Liebmann now with Sebastian.
Yes, Selina Liebmann close to me. Selina, 2 hits behind you, just without points. But the most important thing, how do you feel to create the history of this Speedway Grand Prix?
Yeah, I'm really over the moon because of that. I'm the first female star, and I think that's awesome. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here tonight, and it's the highlight of my career. And yeah, I hope I enjoy it.
After these 2 hits, is it that what you expect or something different?
Yeah, it's really hard because the track conditions changed a lot due to the rain, and it's a different track in case of the practice. And yeah, now it's a hard, slick, and grip, and yeah, in every corner it is another thing on the track. Yeah.
When I saw the track is a little groovy, do you agree?
Yeah, of course there are a lot of reels and holes, and yeah, it's hard to ride. It's really hard to ride and to do the setup.
So about the setup, I would like to ask you, because during these 2 hits I saw that you lose the distance to the guys, and what can you change in your bike, or what can you change in your setup?
I think it's not about the bike, it's about me, because the track conditions are really hard for me. I prefer a hard and a slick track, and so that's really hard for me to score points today. I really like the track in the practice, and now, yeah, as I said, it's hard, but I try my best, and looking forward for the next races.
Yes, and good luck for the next races and for this for the points, of course, because it's a goal.
Yeah, it is a goal for me, and yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you very much, Selina Liebmann, the first lady in Speedway.
Indeed it is, and we're delighted that she's here, but it is tough for her. She's explaining that these conditions are a little alien to her, and she's dead right, though, because conditions in the practice were very different from what they're encountering now.
We are very honest appraisal from Selina there, saying that it's about me, not the bike. And
yeah, fair play.
In these conditions.
Yeah, fair play. She's under a lot of pressure as well. The attention of the media are really. She's in the spotlight there. There's no doubt. We are seeing a little bit more grading going on now, Chris, and I'd like to think that will actually improve things. I want to get rid of that big berm that go from the slick onto the grip, because that's catching riders out.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see them grading the track the wrong way round, because that's taking plenty more dirt round to the entry to the corner. But it's definitely going to even things out for the guys out there after this track grade. But there's so much material, particularly in turn 3, that unfortunately we will see the ruts coming back as this next block of races goes through.
Yeah, but it's not raining, and we've got a race meeting on, and there was some concern earlier today that possibly we may have to postpone the event, but fortunately we aren't having to do that, and I believe that conditions will gently improve, and riders will also become more accustomed to it after 2 or 3 outings. I certainly hope that Jakub Miśkowiak does, because he's had a very disappointing start to his evening with just 1 point from his 2 outings. And as we both said previously, he came into this event as the favourite. He was riding in Warsaw, of course. He got a ride in Warsaw in the Grand Prix 2 weeks ago in the Narodowy Stadium. And so he's used to the big occasions, that's for sure. But he's going to have a little bit of soul-searching going on in their team.
I've been impressed with the quality so far, though, in very, very tough conditions. Some of the lads are getting around pretty quick, I would say. Local favourites, Jan Kvěch, Petr Chlupáč.
Yeah, very impressive from the 2 Czech Republic riders. And they will be delighted with that. Selina enjoying herself, not too much pressure. I'm pleased to see that as well, because it could have had an adverse effect, all the attention. But she seems to be enjoying herself immensely, and she needs to. You know, this is a big moment for her, coming into such a high-profile event. And great that she is managing to keep a smile on her face. And I do hope that she can pick up a few points in the next 3 outings that she's had. As I said before, each rider has now completed 2 rides, so they've got 3 more programme rides before the semi-finals, where the top 8 will progress and the bottom 8 will drop out. and we will see as the pressure mounts. Quite often you need 8 or 9 points to make the semi-finals, and sometimes, rarely, but sometimes you can get through and sneak through with 7, but we'll wait and see how that pans out. But we're on with heat number 9 very shortly indeed, and that man there, Wiktor Lampart, was very impressive after a disappointing outing first time, Chris.
Yeah, and Cierniak going the other way was fantastic in his first one, running a last in his second one, so some interesting dynamics coming into this race. Francis Gusts hasn't managed to win a race yet, but he's been very, very competitive with a couple of second places.
Yeah, 4 points to his name. Rider's up at tapes. Just waiting for the rider on the inside here, which is Francis Gusts. And he's not too far away now. We know that the referee is very strict on the time, but they're all there in plenty of time with over a minute to go, so shouldn't see any exclusions this time. We want to see 4 riders in the race, of course we do. And that's what it's all about. Rafael Dubrucki with Maciej Janowski there. All the Grand Prix stars are here, keenly looking on, possibly thinking that they hope not to have these conditions tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Right, heat number 9 then. And on the inside we've got Francis Gusts there, just doing a little bit of last-minute gardening. Ruts just beginning to appear. And not too much longer. So on the inside in red is Francis Gusts, and gate number 2 is Daniel Klima. Gate number 3 in white is Mateusz Cierniak, and off the outside this time is Wiktor Lampart in yellow, who was pretty impressive last time. He hit the front, dominated the race, and it does appear that starting is going to be an absolute premium here this evening. If you can get your trap in hand on, it's really going to pay big dividends in the opening round of SGP2 in the Markéta here tonight. So, green light is coming on now. Away we go. Charging towards the first corner. It's level there, and the rider on the inside is Francis Gusts. He's made a smashing first turn. He's down the back straight. He hits the front. He's followed through with Daniel Klima in second place. He's running wide. He's running far too wide. It's off the back of the bike. Yeah. Nasty looking crash. He did let go of the bike early. He's being chased hard by Wiktor Lampart in third place.
Still a very awkward crash, Kelvin.
Fingers crossed he's all right. As I said, you said that first turn, the ruts will appear almost immediately, and they did there. They caught him out. He's on his feet. Good news. He's up and about very quickly, so although he won't be in the rerun, unfortunately, he will be excluded for that. But Daniel is marching back to the pits, clearly frustrated with being caught out by the conditions going into turns number 3 and 4.
Yeah, after a couple of third places tonight, looking a little bit better for him in second place as they head into turn 3, which has been the problem corner all night, and there's plenty of dirt out there. He just doesn't get the bike turned. He knows he's in trouble and goes in behind the bike. That could have been nasty.
He was lucky
great to
there.
see him up.
He was lucky there. Tell us why is this happening? Why is he straightening up here?
He's gone in, I think he's turned a little bit too early, so he's had to just straighten the bike up a little bit. He's actually caught on the bike there. That is a really awkward looking crash. He's done well to get up from that.
Bike straightens up now, and that's an awful feeling. He lets go at the time, but he's, as you say, he's dragged in with the bike behind him. And when you get hooked up with a bike, that's when injuries occur. Yeah,
he's gone in hard.
He's a lucky boy.
Thank heavens for air fences.
Absolutely right. Selena keenly looking on there. Probably doesn't want to look at that crash too much.
No.
But the rider in white is excluded. Well, it's not white, is it? It should have been blue, actually. I'm pretty sure he was in blue, but...
Yeah, Daniel was in blue.
Yeah, I thought I saw the white exclusion light come on there, but I was mistaken. A touch fortunate to get away with it as well. Wiktor Lampart there, second opportunity for him. Just shows you how important it is to hit the front, because he was sort of languishing back in 3rd place there and not really looking threatening. But now the opportunity to come back out in the restaging of heat number 9. He'll be looking for an opportunity possibly to keep in the dirt to get a more consistent run through that first corner. And if he can manage to do that, you could actually generate a lot of speed down the back straight. We have seen that before. Yeah,
we're seeing a lot more commitment in turns 1 and 2. Track conditions just a little bit more consistent, less tricky down there, so he'll certainly have a good run around the outside.
Yeah, Francis Gusts there, sitting on 4 points. He's going from the inside gate. Riders just taking a little bit of time. The referee and the race director obviously giving the riders a little bit more time here to get themselves set for the rerun of heat number 9. It is at his discretion when he gives the all clear to the referee to put the 2 minutes on. It hasn't been put on yet, so we are waiting now. Not sure why we're waiting quite as long, but because in truth it should be a rerun with 3 riders here.
Still plenty of work going on with the air fence at the moment.
That is why. And it obviously punctured it. When the hot exhaust goes into the air fence, it quite often melts it and then punctures it. So they are having to replace one section of it, so that is the cause for the delay. Gus there looking pretty relaxed, getting a few last-minute instructions from his team. Tough out there tonight, though, isn't it? You know, you're coming into a big event like this. The rain this afternoon has had a major effect on the track conditions.
Yeah, for sure, and they practiced in dry conditions, a slick track, dusty track, and they've come out to race in something completely different. So, yeah, it's tough for these guys, and the interesting dynamic about the under 21 guys and the SGP2 now, as it is the fact that there's very few preconceptions about your opposition, because you just don't know them. You line up on the start line, you don't know if this guy's an inside rider, an outside rider, whether he's a tough rider. So you're learning all the time, every race.
Yeah, you've got to learn fast at this level. Just going to have to remain a touch patient. I do know that bike setup is crucial. You wouldn't really know where you were going after practice when it was dusty and slick. So everything you learned earlier on today has really been
out the window.
Out the window, exactly. So you've had to start from scratch. But it's nothing unusual for Speedway riders, that, because in truth, when you go to league matches, you don't get practice. You have to just dive in straight away with your opening race. So it isn't something that they're unaccustomed to. But as I say, the heavy conditions are certainly making riders having to hang on to the bike really hard. And mindset is really important in these. If you're a little bit timid, it's going to catch you out. If you can remain positive on the bike and just attack it a little bit, that will help you.
And that's exactly what Jakub Miśkowiak's been lacking. He hasn't been attacking the track at all. He's been off the throttle, and the bike's been basically taking him for a ride.
Yes, the bike has been in charge, and that is not ideal for you. Once the bike gets away from you and it goes heavy on the front tyre, you've only got a very skinny front tyre, and the weight and the front tyre will then wash out, and you feel very uncomfortable indeed, and the bike feels heavy, doesn't it, you know? And that's what you want to try and avoid if you can.
Yeah, the modern bikes, they have a lot less torque in the motor. They're high revving, so they're far less forgiving. If you make a mistake, if you can't break traction, if the bike's going forward, it's very, very hard to get it back these days.
Yes, back in the black and white days when I was riding, of course, you had the upright bikes, and they were
silent movie days.
Yeah, silent movie days. And it was, you know, the bikes were a little bit more forgiving in those days when it was heavy. You could shut the throttle off and maybe drag it back. Modern day Speedway bike, you've got to really be attacking the corners, keep the RPM up to make sure that backboard is still spinning away there. So it's all part of the learning process for these youngsters, that's for sure. You're going to encounter difficult conditions like this from time to time, and you know, the World Championship is a challenge. It needs to be a challenge, and it is one tonight, an unexpected one. Normally at this time of year in Prague it's glorious weather, but it hasn't been so much today. We do know that the weather forecast for tomorrow night's Grand Prix is set fair, and I'd like to think that we will have a better racing surface for the Grand Prix stars tomorrow evening. We are going to be able to get some more reaction now. We do believe that we have been able to get a hold of Anders Thompson. He will be joining Sebastian now.
Anders Thompson, today very easy, very quiet, smiling, and your impressions after this few hits?
Yeah, you know, they had a lot of heavy rain here. They do all what they could at the track. Of course, it's a little bit tricky in there. So yeah, they do all what they can. So far, I don't know if it's beautiful Speedway, but anyway, they come around, and I try to help the young guys to keep up the energy.
Okay, this is some kind of relax for you for tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. I already planned it last week to go here and watch the meeting for see what start gate need to pick, what is good, and also the track condition, and of course helping the young Danish guys is also important for me.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Anders Thompson.
Yeah, good to hear from Anders, who had a smashing Grand Prix, of course, in Warsaw. Croatia. He had a smashing time. He made the final, but disappointing in Warsaw. So keenly looking on. He wants to get back amongst the big points tomorrow night, that's for sure. And he's capable, there's no doubt about it. 3 riders only here for the rerun, and heat number 9. We are going to be missing Daniel Klima, who was a touch fortunate. Riders now up at tapes, and we'll see the riders going from the inside. Francis Gusts on the inside in red, Daniel Klima excluded, Mateusz Swidnicki coming out of gate number 3 in white, and Wiktor Lampart going from the outside in yellow this time. Winner last time out, of course. Second time. Quite often we see riders actually that missed out first time can actually take advantage of a restaging of a race.
Yeah, Francis Gusts will have been the frustrated rider there out front. He's had a couple of second places previously tonight, so he would have been enjoying having a bit of fresh air.
Indeed, but just the 3 of them, so a point almost guaranteed if you can manage to stay on board. We see it now. Heat number 9, and away we go. Certainly a good start from Lampart from the outside, but the inside gate has worked brilliantly. But Lampart around that outside, can he swoop down the backside? No, the door is firmly slammed by Gusts, who's really winding it on as they go through turns 3 and 4 on the opening lap. Gusts looking really determined out in front. Lampart really tried hard, but the door was slammed. Couldn't make that move down the back straight, but Gusts is flying out in front.
Yeah, as you say, Francis Gusts looking very, very determined. Gained all that experience on the world stage in Manchester last year, Speedway of Nations with the Latvian team. And, well, he's looking very, very quick out front, I have to say. This is the fastest looking race of the night so far.
Yeah, Gusts out in front looking really good. The Latvian rider enjoying the conditions once again. So important to make a start. Stolen a march, and Lampart is back in second place, and Swidnicki there in third, struggling a little bit, but Gusts has really dominated heat number 9. Second time of asking, he managed to keep his composure and wins in fine style. Often you can miss out second time, but he doesn't. Hit that first turn, slammed the door shut, picks up a big 3 points, and is looking good. After 3 rides, he really is in a good position now. Set fair for the semi-finals already at this stage. Really good base to work from for Francis Gusts. 7 points out of 3. Very handy return.
Yeah, he's kept himself out of trouble all night. He's always just been there in the background waiting for people to make mistakes. And 7 points from 3 rides is a solid start for him.
Yes, it is. Wiktor Lampart, and steady away there in second place. Here Gusts picks up the 3 points. Wiktor Lampart in second place, 2 for him. Mateusz Swidnicki looking a little bit uncomfortable back in third, 1 point for him. And Daniel Klima, of course, was excluded in the initial staging of heat number 9. And Gusts on 7 points. He'll be pleased with that. And an opportunity for the semi-finals coming up for him.
Yeah, he's edging his way there, and it's all about the inside and outside here. Is Francis makes a great start in red there from the inside, but a great run on the outside from Wiktor Lampart, but he just shuts that door, slams it in his face. He's, as you said, Kelvin, determined in this race, as he's looked all night, to be fair to him, but as the race progresses, you can see there he rides across and literally leaves him no room whatsoever. The dirt there is built up against the fence. You don't want to be catching your footrest in that, because that's going to give you all sorts of problems.
Indeed. And that determined style of Francis Gusts really did pay big dividends there. But we are seeing once again how important it is to get to the front and stay there. And that man, as you rightly say, was part of that Latvian team who debuted in the World Championship last year. Juhl Pedersen goes from the inside in heat number 10 in red. Mateusz Cierniak comes out of gate number 2 in blue. Jonas Knudsen out of gate number 3 in white. And off the outside this time is Selina Liebman in yellow, looking for her first point of the night. Can it be this time? Can she manage to get amongst it? But it's not going to be easy for the youngster from Germany.
Juhl Pedersen, last time out, showed great maturity and patience, just waiting for mistakes to battle his way through to the front.
Yes, he did, and he's got the inside gate, and he'll be hoping to take advantage now. Cierniak alongside him will be keen to get away sharply as well. Green light is on. Away they go. Cierniak's made a good start from gate number 2. He just about gets his nose in front, hits that dirt, and whoa, he's just absolutely roared round that first corner. Tight for second and third down the back straight between Knudsen and Cierniak.
Knudsen, it's all sorts down at the front. Cierniak's gone down.
Such a shame for Cierniak there. After such a good start away from the tapes, really looking good, but caught out very similar to actually Daniel Klima. Almost in the exact place, but he's on his feet immediately. And that turn number 3 certainly is problematic.
Yeah, looking across there, there is a slick line has now developed, but it's on the very inside. The minute you move off it, you really are collecting quite a berm, and that's what's catching these guys out.
I now know why I confused white and blue, because when the blue exclusion light comes on, it looks very white to me, actually, but it is...
Yeah, you're right. It is white.
It is white, but nonetheless, Cierniak has been excluded.
Yeah, looking at it again, Cierniak with a fantastic start. And as you enter turn 3 now, there is a slick patch right on the inside, but if you just move off it, as he does there, you can just see he collects the berm, takes him across the corner, and he's just basically got to bail out of it. He knows he's going to run out of room. Big shame for him.
Oh, he does grab a load of grip, and that means he's just carrying too much speed mid-turn there and just had to jump off the bike at the last minute.
Yeah, he's pointing down at the track, you can see it there.
Yeah, really has rutted up there in turns 3 on the entry, and that's not what you want. You want the bike to break away, and so you can get up the front and be in charge of it.
Rafał Dobrucki there, just sort of pointing out where he's gone wrong. Polish team manager, of course.
Yeah, bit of a debrief going there. Cierniak obviously very disappointed. Came in with high hopes, as all the Polish riders did. They put a lot of store in the under-21 series, the SGP2. This opening round, they have been remarkably successful at this level, the Polish teams and individuals in the past. They have dominated it in recent seasons. And he'll be having to gather himself for his last 2 outings. So, yeah, he will not be in the rerun. We would have a rerun with just the 3 of them, Pedersen, Knudsen and Liebman. Liebman there, just getting herself prepared for the rerun.
And once again, Pedersen could be taking advantage of other people's mistakes.
Yeah, he could well. You know, he just missed out on that start from the inside, but if he can just hold it together and be a little patient, as he was in the first one, or his previous ride, he could well pick up some very valuable points here. A point guaranteed here for Liebman, if she can hold it all together with 3 runners. And that'd be great to get her on the score chart, because it's never nice if you go home and you haven't scored. So it's an opportunity there. On the inside then, we've got Juhl Pedersen in red. Cierniak is excluded, so nobody in gate number 2. Gate number 3 is Jonas Knudsen, and Selina Liebman will go from the outside. Here we go, away we go. Terrific start there from gate number 3.
Fantastic start.
Yeah, Jonas Knudsen absolutely dynamite away from gate 3. As they go down the back straight, it's very, very tight indeed. So, oh my goodness, he's got to bail out short.
He's gone.
Heavy crash there for Pedersen. We were just saying how patient he's been this evening, and he just had a little bit of a rush of blood.
Just
but
on the outside, he's just in the deepest dirt. He made a fully committed entry into that corner.
They're going to have to do some grading now, I believe.
100%.
It's just starting to get a little bit too tough. and riders continually being caught out by that, and the red exclusion light comes on straight away, so we'll be reduced to 2 riders in the third time of asking for this race.
They need to grade that dirt in the direction of the racing. They did it the other way round in the last track grade, and I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, it's far from ideal at this stage, and it's not pleasant when you're losing control of the bike like that, so possibly we may see a delay here before we continue on with the action. There's no question there will be some concern about conditions there. We will wait and see what they decide to do. I'm sure the race director, Rennie Schaefer, will be involved in the decision-making process now. You don't want to see riders continually coming off. Concern for the rider up against the safety fence, Pedersen.
I'm sure the various team managers will be grouping together now to talk to the race director and air their concerns.
Yeah, probably rightly so. We want to make sure it's safe for riders out there. Of course, safety is paramount. It's a tough sport, and if we can just have a small delay possibly and just improve racing conditions. It's a high-profile event. Riders are going to give their everything, of course they are. But that rain this afternoon came at the wrong time, and it's just proving to be a tough ask for these young riders.
Yeah, you know, these guys, they're obviously, most of them, quite inexperienced, and it's the big stage for them. They've come to the Grand Prix venue, and a lot of pressure on them. They're putting pressure on themselves at this stage. So, yeah, I think they've actually done remarkably well, but conditions now have just got to a stage where I think they need some attention.
And what are your thoughts? Because we can see that slightly lighter patch there on the inside, and then it's dark on the outside. Is that creating the problem where it's slick and then you're running into the heavy material?
Yeah, it's from one part of the track to the next is the problem. You just get that transition where it goes from being slick, the bike will turn very easily, and then you get to the grip and the berm, and it's probably, I mean, I can't tell from up here, but I'm thinking it's probably about 3 inches deep down there, and these bikes react extremely violently to almost no dirt. So when you get to that sort of level of grip, they are very difficult to hang on to.
And if you were out there this evening, what would your approach be, Chris? Because obviously you know it's a bit tricky. Would you run in a bit deeper, or would you just try and keep it tight through that third corner?
It's one or the other. You've got to either race in very, very hard on the slick, make sure you keep your focus to keep the back wheel just in the right place. You know, you only need to be an inch or two out, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. So yes, I would be riding into the corner on the slick. If I had to ride in the dirt, I would make sure that I actually rode around the rutted area and just tried to find the consistency. But I have to say, into turn 3, that's almost impossible to do right now.
Yeah, it's always actually been a corner which has caused some incidents in the past. We've seen some pretty hair-raising moments there, even when track conditions are pretty decent, where riders tend to run into each other. It tightens up as you go into turn 3 here, and we have seen accidents there before, but there's no question that Pedersen, that's good to see him up. I'm pleased to see that, because another awkward fall for him. And we've seen 3 riders crashing in almost exactly the same fashion. Yeah. So you've got to believe that they may do some work there. No sign of any grading going on yet, but we'll wait and see.
I can take a look at it again now, and the rider in white there, Jonas Knudsen, makes a fantastic start, but the rider in red, he just had so much speed there on the outside. Juhl Pedersen picks up that rut, and the bike just takes off. That point there, when it goes again the second time, he had scrubbed quite a bit of speed off, but still very, very awkward.
Yeah, we are hearing now, it's confirmed that there will be some track grading there. An awkward fall there, you can see there, it's gone over the handlebars, but never much fun when you're actually that determined and that committed, and you're actually lifting on the way into the corner. I mean, you'll see the front wheel come off the ground at any moment now, and that is not ideal, far from it. And he tries to save it, but then the bike just kicks right again and over the handlebars. And fortunately, he was thrown clear. He'll be a bit knocked about, but there's no doubt that it was an awkward fall. But the track grader is back out, Chris.
Yeah, they're back out, and they've got to move that material. You know, at the end of the day, it's just far too deep. That's the problem. It's in just the wrong place, exactly where you want to turn the bike, and it's making it tough. can see Danish team manager Hans Nielsen down there with Kevin. You know, he's had a reasonable start to the night. There's still points to be gained, so he can still make the semi-finals.
Yes, he can. He's on 4 points, so yes, you're right. You know, 2 solid rides coming up in his final 2 outings, and it's far from over. And of course, the voice of experience from Nielsen, Hans Nielsen in the pits, will be very valuable at this stage, just to keep his chin up, really, just to stay positive. But we're seeing this again because he's actually gone in right on the edge of that dirt line, hasn't he?
Full commitment. As soon as he's entered the corner on the outside of Knudsen there, he knows exactly what's going to happen. At this point, just before then, I think he thought he'd got it saved, but once the bike just lets go there, bounces around, he's out of control and becomes a passenger.
He does indeed. We will get some more reaction while we have this delay from the pit area with Sebastian. We'll hear from Mateusz Cierniak soon, but it's no question that they're going to have to do plenty of work on the track. Right, let's get down to the pits with Sebastian now for some more reaction.
Mateusz Cierniak. Mateusz, the first question is, of course, how do you feel after this crash?
Good. I think it's good. My bike is enough good to start in next hit. So it's enough good.
Okay, Mateusz, what we can say about the track condition? We saw that it's only one path, I think, and when you go a little outside, there's start the trouble.
Inside path is so hard, so outside it's a little bit grippy, and everywhere it's a lot of hole. So track is so hard, but when you have a good setup and you know how to ride on this track, it's good.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm really glad that you're okay. This is the most important thing right now. So good luck for the next heat. Thank you very much. Mateusz Cierniak.
Yeah, well, I've got to say he did really well there, speaking in English quite clearly, not his mother tongue, but I think that still remaining positive, and that's great to see. Had a bit of a smile on his face, which chuffed to bits, because it could easily get downhearted when you have a fall like that. Furious work going on in the pit area. Get the bike clean the chain out. I tell you what, that bike's almost in bits there, and having to do plenty of work, but they are doing a much more extended grading here, and I think that's right. I think that's absolutely right, because we were beginning to see it getting to a point where riders possibly may well have felt it was too tough to go out. So
yeah, previously they just graded the track, they just leveled it off but left the material there. This time they've actually taken quite a bit of material off that corner, left it on the inside of the straight, on the back straight there. So yeah, they're doing absolutely the right thing now. I think we will see that corner now actually start to improve.
Yes, there is a remarkable amount of material that's been generated as a consequence of the rain earlier on today. Fans in the crowd having to be patient, and as I say, this is a delay that you don't really want, but unfortunately it's very necessary. It's a very necessary one, and as I say, we don't want to see riders flying off and going into the air fence. Fortunately, we do have air fences now, because prior to that, accidents like that could be much more dramatic.
It's a shame, because actually the majority of the track has stood up very, very well to the rain earlier today, and it's actually could produce good racing, but it's just that turn 3.
Yep, plenty of chat going on there with Selena. Of course, she's going to be in the rerun. With only 2 riders here, guaranteed 2 points on the card here for her. And as I said earlier, I'm really pleased to see that she's embracing this opportunity, and they're having a bit of fun there. And that's probably the right way to go about it. Not get too serious about it, and just keep spirits high. we've got a reasonable crowd in here tonight. It's not a great evening, it's a chilly evening, but nonetheless still plenty of interest in the SGP2 opening round here this evening. And riders are having to wait. Jonas Knudsen and Selina Liebman, of course, will be the two riders that will be coming out to race in heat number 10. And they'll be pleased to get on with it and complete the 4 laps. And certainly for Knudsen, who has had a hard time so far, he's on 3 points here. If he could win the restaging of heat number 10, moving on to 6, that would also turn his night around big time and put him in a good, strong position for the semi-finals. Good to see Bartosz Marslik here, keeping an eye on his fellow countrymen. Of course, he will know what it's all about to be in the under-21 championship. And it was quite a shock, actually, back in the Narodovi, Chris, when he missed out in that semi-final. I'm sure he actually came out in the press afterwards and said it was a schoolboy error. He just took it on the chin, which was fair play to him. He didn't try and duck the issue. He just said, down to me.
Yeah, it's the poor run of Polish riders making the final continues in the Narodovi, and it's you know, we saw it in Cardiff. It's a lot of pressure, particularly for the home nation riders, and yeah, they're yet to get there, but it's going to happen one day.
I'm sure it will.
I think the roof will come off when it does.
Yes, exactly. It might be just floating down the river, but there's no doubt that it has been difficult for the Polish. You may well be right when you come talking about the pressure. We are, of course, looking forward to the Grand Prix here tomorrow evening. And this track, in actual fact, it's been on the calendar since 1997. It's the 28th visit for us here. And winners of this Grand Prix have very often gone on to win the World Championship. It's almost like a lucky charm for riders winning here. And we've seen it on numerous occasions with big hitters like Jason Crump, Greg Hancock, Tony Ricardson, going on and winning the championship after winning here. And even last year when Artem Laguta, when we had a double header here, Laguta went on and won the second night and then went on to win the championship. So certainly is it's not one of those with a superstition hanging over its head. If you win here, all of a sudden your season, you could well be in for a strong season. Yeah, the track has changed. I mean, it's the longest serving Grand Prix track actually, and it has changed slightly over the years. They've changed the entry to the corners, giving a little bit more room. It used to be a bit square because it was around the football pitch. They've changed the surface. It used to be a very dark grey material that used to break up quite badly. This is a slightly redder material that seems to stay together. Yes, and they have worked very hard here to improve the track conditions. I know that when I rode here, it was a dark grey material, as you say, and it rutted up quite badly, particularly if it was wet. But ironically, in turn 3. Yeah, that's always been problematic there. And I was a little surprised that they didn't make it a little bit wider there as well when they actually did it. Furious work going on, and plenty of hard yards going on here to try and improve things. And I do believe that the grading is now completed, so we won't be too far away for heat number 10 to get underway. Tapes are down, so yes, it does look encouraging signs for us. And just the two riders that are now beginning to make their way out onto the track. We keep our fingers crossed that conditions have improved, and that man, Jonas Knudsen and Selina Liebman, can complete the 4 laps safely. And of course at race speed, we want to see them racing, of course we do. So Knudsen coming up to the tapes now, and Liebman's there not too far behind. So great, we're going to be back on with the action very shortly. Yeah, Knudsen rides for Leszno in the under-24 league in Poland, gaining lots of experience. It's a great league to be racing in for gaining experience on the bigger tracks. Indeed it is. And riders now just beginning to focus on this heat number 10 as we are. Both riders are up at the tapes. So we've got no riders on the inside. They're both excluded. Cierniak and Pedersen off the gate number 3 is Jonas Knudsen in white, and Selina Liebman in yellow will go from the outside gate. Third time of asking. We keep our fingers crossed that all goes well this time, and the riders can actually negotiate turns number 3 and 4 safely, and we get some good action underway again. Last minute digging around on the start line. Start marshal just now encouraging riders to come forward. everybody looking on now will be quite keen to see that how the track reacts after the grading break. So here we go. 2 riders only. Heat number 10. Green lights on. Tapes are up and away we go. And Knudsen's made a good start from gate number 3. Hits that first corner. Liebman just a little bit tricky there. She's just taking it steady. Knudsen now needs to get through turns number 3. He has done. Yeah. That looked much better indeed. Bike behaved itself. He roars into the front. Should be pretty much plain sailing now. He's just got to remain nice and concentrated, not relax too much. And the 3 points will be his. And for Selina Liebman, actually, in second place, this will be a great bonus for her.
Yeah, a couple of points for Selina, but as you rightly say, it's losing focus now at this point when you're out front. You know, riding around pretty much on your own, and the track conditions are pretty tough, but certainly turn 3 has definitely improved.
It has indeed. To the last lap, Jonas Knudsen going to move on to 6 points after 3 outings and put himself right in the mix for the opening round here. Selina Liebman just steady away, looking pretty solid in second place, but Knudsen's ridden a strong race out in front. Heat number 10 comes to a conclusion, and Jonas Knudsen picks up the win. 2 points for Selina Liebman there. Handy couple of points there. She maintained upright, she stayed upright, so no mistakes at all. But for that man on screen, as I say, 6 points out of 3 outings, all of a sudden he has put himself into a strong position with 2 rides to come. He's looking good for a semi-final place.
Yeah, he's got happy memories of this place, having won the 250cc Youth Championship here in 2017, so he knows what it's all about. He'll be happy with that. 3 points, not exactly given to him because he survived the race in very tough conditions.
He did indeed. 3 points for Knudsen out in front, and Selina Liebman back in second place. 2 points for her. Kevin Juhl Pedersen and Mateusz Cierniak failing to score because they both got excluded after having all sorts of problems in the early stages of the race.
And this race known for Selina Liebman picking up her first points on the world stage, but young Jonas Knudsen all out front on his own, having to keep focus. As we said, you know, conditions are tricky, and when you're riding around so far in front like that, it's easy to lose focus, but he looking pretty accomplished, and pleased to say that turn 3 not perfect, but certainly settling down.
Yeah, and just explain a little bit further about the fact that you know, there is this rule about the fact that you can't just cruise around. You have to be racing, even if you're out in front by that distance, isn't there? Yeah,
if you start to pull wheelies or anything in a race like that and you're not actually seen to be racing, you can be excluded by the referee. It is in those conditions, in that situation, it is a slightly strange one for me, but we have seen riders excluded.
Have indeed. Right, heat number 11, we're up at tapes and we're on with the action. That's good news for us and everybody concerned. On the inside we've got Wiktor Szymski in red, and gate number 2 is Petr Szulpak in blue, Benjamin Basso coming out of gate 3 in white, and Timi Salonen going from the outside in yellow. And Petr Szulpak here, he's going great guns tonight. He's riding really strongly. He's looked very determined. I must say,
even 3 points on the start line here, except for Szymski, who really now needs to start winning races.
Yeah, Szymski's got to turn his night around. He's got the inside gate, and if he can get a sharp start here, but he's up against riders in pretty good form in Basso and Szulpak. Salonen also having had a weak win. Away we go, and Salonen made a really good start from the outside. Brilliant. Super stuff from him. A bit untidy by Szymski in the first turn, and he's found himself out the back. And down that back straight, Benjamin Basso has moved into second place. Certainly it's looking good from Salonen. Ran wide in the bottom corner, but he maintains his lead. And we have seen on numerous occasions already this evening, if you can hit the front, you can then really dictate terms. And Salonen's doing that well now.
Yeah, Salonen very, very tight going into that corner. Wants to avoid all of those ruts, keep it on the slick. Looking very good out front, hearing great things about his form from the Polish under-24 league. Looking good out front. Basso again picking up vital points, so he's just in the points every race.
Yeah, being very consistent indeed, Benjamin Basso in second place, but Timi Salonen looking set fair for a second heat win of the night, and his evening is going to improve immensely as a consequence of this race. Round that last corner, checkered flag is just about ready in time. And he completes the 4 laps out in front. Really super start from the outside from the Finnish rider. Benjamin Basso once again solid in second place, and Chlupáč back in third, just misses out. But Timi Salonen, I've got to say that was an impressive ride for him, and he now tops the charts with 2 heat wins and a third, moving on to 7 points. He's looking good.
Yeah, looking very good, and he hit the front in his first ride and looked very, very sharp. He's just won another race, take him on to 7 points.
Indeed, Shemsky's having a hard time. He's finding it really difficult, and quite clearly he's mentally, you know, just being challenged a bit too much. Timi Salonen out in front, super ride from him, 3 points. Benjamin Basso solid in second place, 2. Petr Chlupáč third, 1 point. And Wiktor Shemsky just missing out. And Chlupáč, I've got to say, that's probably his worst result of the night so far.
Yeah, and Timi Salonen there, great from gate 4. Very often here, gate 4 does come good halfway through the meeting, and as the track's now dried out, we can certainly see gate 4 starting to work. Riders being able to enter turn 3 in various places without making the massive mistakes, but Timi Salonen there in the first lap, running quite wide but getting away with it, keeping the bike smooth, keeping the pace going. And yeah, still plenty of bouncing around going.
Those slow motion shots really do give you an insight into what it's really like out there. When the bike's bouncing around like that, it is actually uncomfortable. You've got to hang on to that front of the bike.
Yeah, no suspension on the rear, the only suspension coming from the low tyre pressure, but sometimes that just makes things worse.
It does indeed. We're up at tape for heat number 12 now, and we are rattling through the races. And after the delay, trying to make up for some time lost. And we've got some good stuff. Grant there on the inside. Line up then for heat number 12. Grant on a warning on the inside in red. Kasper Henriksen coming out of gate 2 in blue. Jan Kvěch going great guns out of gate number 3 in white. And then Jakub Miśkowiak, the under-21 world champion, going from the outside in yellow. And it really is a crunch moment for the world champion. He's got to come good now. He's had 2 disappointing outings so far, Chris, and he really has got to produce what we know he's capable of now.
Yeah, and the conditions are now coming to him. You know, if he can be mentally strong, get over his first couple of rides, he's certainly got the ability.
He has indeed. Tapes are up and away we go. It's a level break, and out of gate number 2, a superstar from Henriksen, but it's Miśkowiak on the outside as well, and Miśkowiak hits the front. That's more like it from the Polish man. He now roars into the bottom corner. He hangs onto the bike, a little bit untidy behind him, but all of a sudden Jakub Miśkowiak, the pride on the line now, the world champion's out in front, beginning to demonstrate his skill, and he's pulling away.
Yeah, Jakub looking good out front. As I said just before the start, needed to turn his night around in this one. Conditions have come to him, and he's now showing his speed. Kvěch has now just made ground and come over to second place. The gap is far too big now, though.
Super ride from Kvěch, though, because that'll keep his score tally going very nicely. It was a good move from him through turns 3 and 4. And there we see the Czech Republic rider, but the Polish boy out in front. The world champion all of a sudden returning to form here. And a determined first corner. Got a little bit untidy on the last lap there, but as it comes to complete his third outing, that's much more like it. 3 points for him. Jan Kvěch back in second place. A determined ride from the Czech Republic rider, coming from third to second. And Gustav Grant just missing out the back there, but for Jakub Miśkowiak, all of a sudden his mood's going to improve immensely now. He's going to have a smile on his face.
Yeah, maybe Bartosz Marslik has had a little word with him because he's a different character in that one.
If he has, it's worked a treat. And he's got an opportunity now to make his mark in this meeting. He picks up the win, Miśkowiak, 3 points for him. Jan Kvěch, a very good ride for second place there, 2 points. Kasper Henriksen just missing out, third place. And Gustav Grant failing to score, and he's having a disappointing night, Gustav Grant. But Jan Kvěch on 8 points leads the way, followed by Timi Salonen on 7, Francis Gusts on 7, Petr Chlupáč on 6, and Jonas Knudsen on 6 as well. And steady away for Benjamin Basso. Plenty of action coming up, and there's no question that it will improve. Well, Every rider's had 3 rides now, Chris, and this was an encouraging ride from Jakub Miśkowiak.
This is a big turning point in his night. He's now going to take a lot of confidence from this ride. It doesn't make the best start from gate 4, but he gets the bike driving as they hit the turn, uses the dirt on the outside. He's riding with a lot more confidence now. He's looked very, very fragile in his opening 2 rides as he rounds up Kasper Henriksen down the back straight. Of course, when you make that run down the back straight now, you're fully committed to turn 3, going in the dirt. And you have to be brave, you've got to keep it on.
You have indeed. We just saw Henriksen running wide here, and that allowed that move from Kvěch. Kvěch was ready to pounce, and he didn't need much of an invitation, did he, with Henriksen running wide in the bottom corner. And the man who's going to be a busy man over the next 2 days, of course, he's racing here tomorrow as well. He leads the way, and it's a terrific effort from him.
Yeah, a little mistake there on the last lap from Miśkowiak, but he'd done all the hard work.
Yes, he had a little bit of breathing space, so he could afford just to take it a little easier through that last corner. We're seeing some more extensive work going on the track now, with some tyre packing going on from the water bowser on the inside, as well as the grader on the outside. So fingers crossed that this continues to improve conditions, and the racing and the confidence for the riders in the pits will also increase. And the second half of the meeting, we see some slightly better racing. Jankovic just having a chat with our pit reporter tonight, who is Sebastian Chesney from Poland, doing sterling work for us down in there.
Miśkowiak with 2 on the trot here, and nice to go straight back-to-back races when you've just had a great ride, turning your night around. And he comes up against Timi Salonen. Could be an interesting battle, that one. Yeah,
and Miśkowiak goes from the inside, so possibly an opportunity to really turn his evening around. And Miśkowiak, Jakub Miśkowiak on 4 points now, but big debrief going on with Hans Nilsson there, of course, with Pedersen. Right, let's get back down to the pits, where we can get some more reaction with Sebastian now.
Jan Kvěch, let me check, 8 points at the moment. You are the leader. Congratulations. And I see that everything worked excellent.
Yeah, now I have 8 points. Good. Was good starts on the meeting, and I'm lost one point with Jakub Miśkowiak because I was bad start.
Okay, but 8 points, the leader. That absolutely fantastic at the moment. I would like to ask about the bike, about the setups. I see that your bikes are really fast. Also, I spotted with the setups, is everything okay?
Yes, I was good setup today, and maybe I think it's a very hard track today, and it's more important from start.
Yes, it's most important because the track is a little tricky today at the moment, and the most important is to get on the first place, on the first position, or maybe second, to find the optimum path.
Yeah, who wants the start was easy go to the track.
Okay, thank you very much, Jan, and good luck for the next races. Jan Kvěch, leader at the moment, 8 points.
He is indeed, Sebastian, and he's doing sterling work, and I've got to say he looks a little older than 21 to me, but
looks older than the rest of the field.
He does, but he's having a great night, and it will set him up nicely for tomorrow as well. But of course his main focus will be trying to win the under-21 World Championship, the SGP2 series, of course. And here in his homeland and his home track, he's after 3 outings, he's looking really strong. Plenty of work going on, and tyre packing also, so we'll hope that that just smooths conditions out. Looks like it is actually having an effect, actually, the water bowser.
Yeah, they're just packing it down. I'm surprised to maybe see them doing it that way, because possibly that's going to encourage the track to make a little bit more grip as they firm it up, because it's not going to go rock hard. But no, I mean, they're doing the right things now. Maybe it could have been done earlier, but the track material was possibly too wet to work in the early heats.
Okay, right, we can catch up with some highlights now for you, just to reflect on what we've seen so far. So there we see some of the highlights of what we've seen in the first 12 heats. Each rider has completed 3 outings, and it's taking shape now with Jankovic leading the way on 8 points, Salonen and Gusts on 7, and Chlupáč back on 6, and Benjamin Basso steady away on 3 second places. So those riders in particular will be looking pretty confident to go further in the evening. The work to be done for Miśkowiak, but Miśkowiak is the sort of rider now after that win. There's every chance of him beginning to really make an impact now after a disappointing start. He's the rider with the red helmet colour on there, and he was pretty impressive in the previous race, heat 12. He comes straight back out here in heat number 13, Chris, and he's got the inside gate, so he really does need to capitalise now, because he's still got a very good chance of still winning this meeting.
100% rider of his calibre. You wouldn't put it past him, and I think it's good timing for him. He's coming out 2 on the trot, confidence is high, they've just had a track grade, he's coming off gate 1. All of his cards seem to be just falling into place now.
Yes, and I'm sure he's experienced enough, and his team will be reminding him that there's every opportunity with 2 heats to go that he could force his way well and truly back into the picture. He sits there in 8th as we speak on 5, so a win here will be very useful indeed, and I would say 8 or 9 points would almost certainly guarantee you a semi-final place here tonight. And the inside gate after a freshly prepared track just could be the right place to be. We wait with bated breath to see how the track will react. Okay, we are just receiving some news now that
Juhl Pedersen's out.
Kevin Juhl Pedersen obviously clearly knocked about by that heavy fall he had earlier on, and he'll be replaced. And that's a shame for Pedersen, because you know, he won't want to give up here, but we will have a reserve rider here, and it probably will be Mateusz Kaminek, and we wait to see that confirmed. But the 3 riders have merged for heat number 13 initially. Great pictures from over above the stadium, this old traditional stadium, initially run by the police actually back in the day, but as you said earlier on, Chris, it's been pretty much ever present since 1997, so a long-standing Grand Prix venue, and we've witnessed some pretty special nights here in the Markéta Stadium, that's for sure. 3 riders up at tapes. We are 1 minute and 20 seconds away, and we're just now seeing the last of the 4 riders come out on track, and it is Mateusz Kaminek coming out for his 2nd appearance. He'll be hoping that it's a little bit more successful than the first one. When his chain came off, it was all a bit of a rush for him earlier on, so a little bit more time to be prepared for this one. So heat 13, and we're getting to that midway point of the evening. Need 16 races, of course, to get a result in a Grand Prix. We're not quite there yet. Heat 13, off the inside, the world champion Jakub Miśkowiak goes from there. Gate number 2 is Kaminek, coming out of gate number 2. The reserve rider, Timi Salonen, going well tonight, coming out of gate number 3. And Swidnicki coming out of gate number 4 in yellow. 4 points to his name. So an important ride for Swidnicki here. He can get his nose in front. He certainly has an opportunity of making the semi-final. Plenty to race for here. Riders that possibly have had a disappointing start, well, all of a sudden It hasn't gone away from them. They've got to keep their chins up. Settling down. Heat 13, an important race. All 4 riders want to get amongst the points now. Long pause. Miśkowiak has made an absolutely superb start. Got to the first corner there. Salonen on the outside. A little bit of drama there for the reserve rider. Cierniak back in 3rd place, but Jakub Miśkowiak really sharp away from the tapes and is beginning to turn on the style now. The under-21 world champion, a winner in heat number 12. He's hit the front in heat number 13. Salonen's there as well, coming on strong in 2nd place. Super stuff from him, Chris, but Miśkowiak looking strong out front.
Yeah, Salonen looked like he had the opportunities for a bit of a dive bomb going into turn 3 on the first lap, but I think he just chose to consolidate that 2nd place, all about making those semi-finals. And Miśkowiak is gaining in confidence, and once he gets that confidence, he can be very, very quick, as we know.
He is indeed, but Salonen is keeping him very honest in 2nd place. Miśkowiak working hard out in front, but back-to-back heat victories for the champion. He's going to get 6 points here out of the last 2 outings, and all of a sudden, he's showing his class. He's turned his night around after a disappointing start. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. Conditions were not to his liking earlier on, and the reserve rider there, Cierniak, just finding conditions a little bit too tough for him, failing to finish. But for that man, heat 12, heat 13 goes the way for him, and all of a sudden Jakub Miśkowiak is going to be a powerful rider in this opening round of the SGP2 event. He all of a sudden has forced himself well and truly into contention, and riders have already come out for the upcoming race, heat number 14, and that's why they were just being held back. But Miśkowiak, certainly with another ride to come, will be very pleased indeed that he has really begun to make his mark on this night. But we'll see the replays once again.
Electric from the start. You can see there the difference it's made. Now he wants to be in front. He wants to get racing his motorbike, and he's looking very, very quick. Big mistake there from the reserve replacement in blue, but we can see here again Salonen all action. You can see the riders all picking up, missing the corner, doing well to miss each other, but Jakub Miśkowiak looking pretty, I wouldn't say he's comfortable out front. I don't think that would be the right word, but he's got himself back together. Obviously a lot of talking going on in the pits, maybe a bit of inspiration from the current SGP leader Bartosz Marzlik, but whatever it is, looking much more like his old self.
Yep. And he moves on to 7
When I say
points.
old, he's not that old.
No, he isn't. No, he's in his 20s, I think, so that can't be old. Anyway, heat 14, we're up at tapes, and we are on with the action once again. And we've got plenty more to come. Track not ideal, but an improvement over earlier on, that's for sure. Heat number 14, Selina Liebman goes from the inside in red. Gustav Grahn goes from gate number 2 in blue. Victor Szymski comes out of gate 3 in white, and Victor Lampart on 5 points goes from gate number 4 in yellow. And again, another important ride for Lampart here. If he can win this onto 8, it's going to get very tight for the semi-finals. Tapes are up and away we go. Gate number 2, brilliant stuff from him. Gustav Grahn, who's had a disappointing night so far, he really has fired himself to the front. Lampart has come through into 2nd place, and Szymski once again finding it really tough indeed. Oh my goodness, Lampart all out of shape there. He did well to hang on, but Gustav Grahn really winding it on out in front, looking much improved here.
Yeah, much improved from the young Swede. He's a product of the Indiana youth system, and they're doing very well over there in Sweden now, some of the clubs with their youth system, and he's looking a lot more comfortably out front now.
Indeed he is, smashing side out of gate number 2 for Grahn, and he roars down the back straight. He's got this race well and truly in his back pocket. Lampard, who was very untidy early on, but a useful 2 points if he can just maintain his speed here in 2nd place. Liebman back in 3rd, going to pick up another point. But there's no doubt about it that Gustav Grahn here had certainly all of a sudden he looks like a really good Speedway rider here, and he's ridden really nicely to win the race. I've got to say that that's an impressive ride from him. Liebman finishes now back in 3rd place and picks up another point. She moves on to 3 points, and a good return for her. But Gran, he wins his first race of the night, and will be delighted with that after having a disappointing opening 3 rides. And Shemski's having a nightmare. I don't think we can describe it any other way. He's really finding it very difficult. The 17-year-old I thought was actually going to be quite a star tonight has found conditions not to his liking.
Switched off early doors, didn't he, when the track was very, very difficult.
Yeah, and Victor Lampart there just hanging on for second place. Gustav Gran out in front, he picks up the 3 points. Victor Lampart back in second place, 2 points for him. Selina Liebman, third place for her, and Victor Shemski just finding conditions a little bit too tough so far, fails to score. But that man, that's much more like it. He'll be pleased with that.
Much more like it, yeah. Gustav Gran in blue here makes a pretty decent start, and is a permanent wild card in this series, and now we're finally seeing exactly why that is, because he looked pretty quick out front once he calmed himself down. He's got used to the conditions as things have calmed down, and their big mistake, which opens up the big gap. Victor Lampard just backs it into the corner. He gets a little bit of grip going in, then overturns the bike and loses all of his speed.
Yeah, he did well to hang on there, actually, and picked up a very handy 2 points. And Lampard is actually in 5th place as we speak after that result, so not disastrous for him, steady away. But Gustav Gran, and all of a sudden, he'll be wishing that the meeting started now, because that was an impressive ride for him. We are hearing that Daniel Klima is out of the meeting for the rest of his ride, so he won't be taking any further part. So the lineup for heat number 15 is Bruno Belan, the reserve rider on the inside, Benjamin Basso in gate number 2, Jankovic coming out of gate number 3, and on the outside, Cierniak goes there from the outside, and they hit that first turn. And all of a sudden, Jankovic really strutting his stuff once again. Absolutely superb, brilliant effort also on the outside there from Cierniak coming around the outside. A really improved ride from him. But Jankovic, on 8 points coming into this, is looking once again a very determined Speedway rider, and is dominating this race.
Yeah, Basso was trying everything on that first lap at Cierniak, but it seems to have calmed down now. And Cierniak giving everything he's got to chase Jankovic down, but Jan looking pretty composed out front, looking pretty, I wouldn't use the word relaxed, but...
no, I don't think you can relax this evening, can you? That's
not
for
too
sure.
long, no.
No, that's for
certainly
sure.
Not going into turn 3 anyway.
No, he's hanging on and he's looking good. He's riding a good line, and he made that move earlier on in the race, and that really has paid big dividends for him. Cierniak also is upped his game in second place, maintaining good speed. Basso back in third. That'll be the first time he drops out of second place. So they come through that last corner. Jankovic delights the home crowd once again. He moves on to 11 points now from his 4 outings. Super stuff from him. Cierniak looked pretty useful in second place there, 2 points. And Basso back in third.
7, giving himself a good chance.
Yeah, absolutely right. But this man, Jankovic, he means business tonight. I'd like to see his birth certificate, actually, because he certainly looks a little older than 21, but there's no question that, be that as it may, he's riding really well this evening.
Yeah, he's local knowledge, knows the track. He's obviously comfortable out there on it, but of course conditions the same for him as they are for everybody else.
It's just the body language on the bike, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can just see that it's composed, and there's a commitment in him. And he's only dropped 1 point from his 4 outings so far tonight, and he's safely through to the semi-finals. Kvěch wins in style, 3 points for him. Cierniak back in second place, 2 points for him. Basso third, 1 point, and Bruno Belan failing to score. But Jankovic, he's looking good here.
Yeah, looking very good. It was a great start also from the rider in blue, Benjamin Basso, but he just doesn't get it to the corner, and Jankovic just moves out mid-track, decides he's just got to stop the run of Basso, and then we can see there on the outside Cierniak making the move, and moves himself onto 7 points, gives himself a great chance of a semi-final place with 1 ride to go.
It does indeed. Benjamin Basso there,
a little
just
bit out of shape,
a little bit of a moment up against the safety fence, but he hangs on well. But the man that is dominating proceedings so far after his 4th outing is Jankovic, that's for sure. And right now he's looking a favourite to win. Can he keep it going? We're up to heat number 16. This will complete the fourth outings for all four riders. On the inside in red is Petr Chlupáč. Gate number 2 is Francis Gust in blue. Kasper Henriksson comes out of gate 3 in white, and Jonas Knudsen will go from the outside in yellow. And we're not hanging about now. The green light is already on. Away they go. They go roaring towards the first corner. Smashing start out of gate number 2 for Gust. Francis Gust has made an absolute star-studded effort there. He's already comfortably out in front. And Chlupáč back in second place. Knudsen very wide in the bottom corner, a bit out of shape indeed, and he slips to the back, just about charging back into third place. But Francis Gust, what a start from him.
Yeah, Francis Gust looking quick out front, won his last race, and rider in white there, Kasper Henriksson, getting in all sorts of problems again on turn 3, but out front Francis Gust looking very, very quick, and this will put him in a semi-final position.
It will indeed. Francis Gust really showing a clean pair of heels to the opposition here. Has ridden really maturely well. Once again, the body language, the commitment is really paying dividends. Sharp away from the tapes, has dictated terms out in front. Track is beginning to improve. And there's no doubt that he is looking really very impressive indeed here in heat number 16. Chlupáč back in second place, but Francis Gust, that is a really impressive ride from him. Chlupáč back in second. That won't do him any harm at all. Chlupáč doing very nicely. But Francis Gust and Jan Kvěch, certainly the best two riders on show this evening so far. Very consistent and already through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, Francis Gust, that man there, and as you say, Jan Kvěch, just looking the most composed, making the least amount of mistakes, just doing what they've got to do, great from the start.
Yeah, what a start it was. If you can make starts like that on a night like this evening, it really can help your cause big time. And it certainly did there, and he won in style. 3 points for Gust. Chlupáč back in second place, 2 points for him. Henriksson picking up third place, and Jonas Knudsen just failing to score this time. But Kvěch on 11 points now. He's looking good. 10 points for Gust. Salonen back in third on 9. Chlupáč on 8. Miśkowiak all of a sudden beginning to make his presence felt on 7. Lampart on 7 as well. Cierniak on 7. Basso on 7. It's very, very tight for the top 8. Yep, a bit more track grading going on, and we'll be on with the action very quickly.
Yeah, taking a look at it again now, and Petr Chlupáč from the inside would have been hoping to make a little bit more from there, but Francis Gust well away. Fantastic start, very, very composed out front. Few mistakes from the boys at the back there. We can see Knudsen making the first mistake, running very, very wide, does well to stay on the bike. Later on in the race, it's Kasper Henriksson suffers the same problems, and again, turn 3, got to be committed, especially if you're going to ride into the corner that wide. But for Francis Gust, no such problems. Very, very composed out front.
Yeah, he was indeed, and we're seeing the riders with that real determination and commitment to the cause. They are beginning to bear fruit, that's for sure. And there's no doubt about it, but he's looking very accomplished indeed. We've got bits of flying off the bike there in here, but Knudsen just running very wide in that bottom corner. He did well to hang on to the bike there in truth. He probably was a little bit wider on the entry to the corner than he really wanted to be, but for the two riders out in front, they enjoyed a smashing race with Chlupáč and Gust showing good respect between the two riders.
Shame for Knudsen, that he was on 6 points going into that race, so a lot of pressure on him now to gain a race win, or possibly second place from his last one.
Indeed. And, Francis Gust, who clearly benefited from that Speedway of Nations last year in Manchester, and a rider that quite clearly is growing in stature, growing in ability. He looks good on the bike. I like the way he rides the bike. He looks composed, and even in these tough conditions, he made light work of it there and really wound it on out in front. So encouraging signs for the Latvian here. And it is a surprise after 4 outings not to see a Polish rider at the top of the charts. The first one we see is back in 5th place at this stage, and got to say that there's time for that to change. Of course there is, and once they get through to the semi-finals, the points they score in the qualifying races, of course, will be then wiped clean, and then World Championship points will be dished out as a consequence of where you finish in the top 8, as well with the riders, the bottom 8 riders dropping out as well.
Got to say fair play to Jakub Miśkowiak, turning his night around with 2 race wins. Just shows why he's the reigning under-21 champion.
Yeah, you know, he had 2 really disappointing rides where he was hardly involved, and he really wasn't at the races at all, and he's come out with those back-to-back race wins with really a point that was gifted to him earlier on, and all of a sudden he looks like the real deal and showing us what he's all about. And he'll be looking forward to his last outing, and just looking down at the programme just to see where he is coming out. He's coming out of gate number 3 in 18. We are actually going to be able to hear from Francis Gusts now, because he's joining our pit reporter Sebastian right now.
Francis Gusts, Francis, 10 points at the moment. It's a fantastic evening for you. Your bike is really fast. You are really fast, and I see that you find a really good path on this track.
Yeah, you know, I like grippy tracks, but right now it seems to be a little bit harder track, and it's a little slicky. But I hope the track guys will make the best track possible. And yeah, I like track like this.
Okay, we spoke about track, and then a few words about the start grid after the 16 heats. Which start grid, in your opinion, is the best?
You know, in the first 4 heats, and the best one was the inside. But right now in the start corner, there's a little bit not grippy, like there's no material, and like before. And from now, I think it's better 4th gate, because you can go around and then make big straight and just get good speed.
So we see the smiling Francis Gusts. It's normally because everything is going very good.
Yeah, if it would not be good, I would smile. Yeah, no problem for me.
Okay, tell me, I saw that you have something done with your bike. What is what?
Yeah, you know, the start is like 90% of the win, and to make good starts, we need good clutch plates. And so, after a few heats, I'm just taking old ones out and put new ones in, and yeah, hope I will have a good start.
Okay, thank you very much, Francis Gusts.
Yes, well, he'll be looking forward to his last ride, where he will actually come from the outside gate, and he was just discussing there with Sebastian that he fancied that the outside gate may just be coming to the riders now, and he'll be interested to see what happens here in heat number 17, where we've got Kvěch going from the outside, and he leads the way on 11 points at this stage. There he is indeed, readying and raring to go.
Interesting to hear Francis say he's changing clutch plates halfway through the meeting. Was that in your budget back in the day, Kelvin?
No, quite simply, no. My clutch plates had to do a bit more than 3 races. Here we are then. And quite clearly, he got a bigger budget than me.
Yes.
Heat number 17, and important points on the line. Kvěch will be keen to maintain his high standards here, that's for sure. And he'll go from the outside. On the inside, in red, is Mateusz Swidnicki. Alongside him is Wiktor Szymski, and Jonas Knudsen will go from gate number 3. Kvěch on the outside. Hasn't made a good start at all. Swidnicki on the inside has made a terrific start from gate number 1. He's fired himself to the front, really looking good. Knudsen there in 2nd place, running wide, running very wide, just about hanging on to it. Oh my goodness! Just slipped off at the wrong time there, Mateusz Swidnicki.
See why he did that.
And that was a shame for him after doing all the hard work away from the tapes. Kvěch actually collected him there. Let's keep our fingers crossed. He's on his feet, that's great. And he's kind of thrown away a heat win there. He was looking strong.
Would have given him 8 points.
And he was in a good position to potentially make the semi-finals. He's making hard work of it now. And he's going to be excluded, the red exclusion light on. So Just see here what happened. Not quite
Nicky
sure.
looks comfortably out front. Everything's going quite normal. Just overturns the bike and goes down. It's really hard to understand how he managed to do that, because nothing has caused it. He's just overturned the bike. The tyres let go.
He's doing a Kelly Moran there, not quite pulling it off, but
it's not quite Costa Mesa either, is it?
No, it isn't.
50 yards or whatever it is.
Just hanging off the side of the bike a wee too much. I'll tell you what, Jankovic.
He did get
Jankovic. I mean, crikey, that could have been so much worse. We're seeing Knudsen on the outside running in very deep indeed, but keep your eyes on that man now, hanging off the side of the bike. Right foot's come off. I mean, he just lost control mid-turn.
He does get run over here too.
Oh, his left leg will be feeling the full effects of that, that's for sure. He's excluded, and that probably puts pay to his chances of making the semi-finals, in actual fact. So disappointment there for Mateusz Swidnicki. He'll be frustrated with that. We've got the reserve rider out immediately, and making their way back up to the tapes. So excuse me, that's actually Wiktor Szymski actually making his way back to the tapes, who hasn't enjoyed a great night, and it's been a very disappointing evening for Szymski. He hasn't in fact managed to score so far tonight. 3 riders only in the rerun, and an opportunity for Jankovic here to actually hit the front and really stretch his lead and move on to 14 points from 5 outings. That really would be a strong return and give him the first pick for gate positions in the semi-finals. So Wiktor Szymski coming out of gate 2. Well, he'll be hoping that he can maintain on board. No rider on the inside, Swidnicki is excluded. Gate number 2 in blue is Szymski. Gate number 3 is Jonas Knudsen in white, and Jankovic will go from the outside in yellow. Second time of asking then in heat 17. This is an opportunity for Jankovic to really stamp his authority on the qualifying races. Green light comes on now. Away we go. And Jonas Knudsen makes a super start. Jankovic switches back to the inside. It's tight coming out of the first corner, but good ride there from Jonas Knudsen. Covered that really well. Holds the line in the bottom corner. Much more composed from him this time. He is riding nicely out in front. Kvěch holding the inside line, but you've got to say that Jonas Knudsen is really riding well, riding the right part of the track, and is powering away in front.
Yeah, fair to say that Jankovic doesn't need points, doesn't need to take the win and take too many risks, but I've got to say Jonas Knudsen has really grown into this meeting. He's got quicker and quicker as the night's gone on.
He has indeed. Conditions are improving, racing's improving. Jankovic there just maybe just being a little bit more circumspect now. Nearly ran in the back of Knudsen on the previous lap. Just got the 1 lap to complete now, and this for the Danish rider. This is an encouraging ride from him. Strong start, held it all together for the 4 laps. Through that last corner, comes home to win his first race of the night. Good ride from Knudsen. Danish flags flying in the crowd, plenty of them here. Wiktor Szymski completes the race on the back wheel. Not sure that'll go down too well with the authorities, but nonetheless, he does pick up a point for his efforts, and Kvěch in second place. But Knudsen there, it was an encouraging ride for him. And Szymski picks up his first point of the night. And got to say that Kvěch will finish on 13 points now. And I don't think it's going to be enough for, well, Knudsen now moving into 4th place. He's on 9. That should be enough. The result then, Knudsen on 3 points for him. Jankovic 2 points there. And Wiktor Szymski picks up his first point of the night. Swidnicki was excluded. See the standings now. And 13 points out in front from 5 outings is good news. Gusts has got a ride to come, of course, on 10. Knudsen on 5 in 9. That should be enough for us to see him in the semi-finals.
And yeah, Jonas Knudsen with the start like this, clearly been listening to Hans Nielsen. And takes a brave move to move straight to the dirt line and just take the edge of the dirt with Jankovic in the race.
But it was a clever first corner from Knudsen. He didn't run too wide. He was aware that Kvěch had actually moved back to the inside there. That was smart riding from him.
Yeah, it was just enough just to catch enough grip, and then turn back and stop the run. You can see there Kvěch just has to straighten the bike up. He's coming across. Yeah, great presence of mind, knew exactly what to do.
There we are, absolutely. And moving on, and we should see more from him in the semi-finals. Heat number 18 then, and the green light is already on, and away we go. We've got Chlupáč on the inside, makes a good start. Miśkowiak in white coming across, but it's Petr Chlupáč makes a super turn in the first corner, and no doubt about that, we've got Selina Liebman back in third place, and hanging on in there, and got to say, all of a sudden, the two riders are out in front, and Petr Chlupáč is really turning on the side. He's really having a good night. And Miśkowiak, who won his previous two outings on 7 points, 2 points here, 9 points should be just about enough. It's going to get very, very tight for the semi-final. Selina Liebman in third place, hanging on there, building on her score, but down the back straight. It's all looking good for Petr Chlupáč here. It's looking very good indeed.
Yeah, he's going to move himself onto 11 points, comfortably making the semi-finals, and Miśkowiak doing a good job, moves on to 9. He'll be in the semi-finals too. Still not looking particularly comfortable. The bike not looking particularly easy to ride.
Can you believe we've got dust here? Unbelievable. Anyway, here we go. Petr Chlupáč, brilliant stuff from him, winning fine style. The home crowd, of course, delighted with that. And Selina Liebman coming through in third place, and also is improving as the longer the night goes on. Miśkowiak back in second place. But Petr Chlupáč there, a strong ride from him. And a semi-final place is guaranteed, that's for sure. Liebman back in third, Miśkowiak just missing out this time. Got to say that Chlupáč making a really good effort from the inside. Here's the result. Chlupáč out in front, 3 points for him. Miśkowiak, 2 points for him. Makes the semis, should make the semis on 9. Here we see the standings now. All of a sudden, it's very tight though. And Lampart and Cierniak on 7 points are under threat. Benjamin Basso also on 7. Will need a heat win, you suggest, if he can, and he will go from the inside this time.
Yeah, Chlupáč making just a good enough start from the inside. I thought Miśkowiak had done enough when he dropped the clutch, but he just makes that mistake in the first turn. Runs out a little wider than he wanted to. And he can't get across Chlupáč, but it's a great ride from him, taking him on to 11 points. You can see Miśkowiak's bike, plenty of power, but it reacts quite violently to everything it hits. He's not getting a comfortable ride at all. And I'm sure the guys in the pits for him will be looking at maybe just calming that bike down for him a little bit as we head into the semi-finals.
Absolutely, work to be done then. And we're up to heat 19, and riders up at tapes already. And just getting themselves prepared. On the inside in red is Benjamin Basso. Needs a good result here. Bruno Belan, the reserve rider, comes out in gate number 2 in blue. Gustav Grana, winner last time, out of gate number 3 in white. And Frances Gusts, who's enjoying a really good night and has got a big wide smile on his face. When he was interviewed earlier on by Sebastian, he goes from the outside. He was talking about the outside potentially being the place to be. And he will go from there, hoping for a good run round that first corner. But Basso on the inside, he's been steady tonight, looking for his first win now. Here we go. Long pause, he's made a good start, but Gusts is also there. But Benjamin Basso running very wide, just about hanging on to it, with Francis Gusts also there, tucking into second place. Good ride from him, but Basso, the first time he's really got his nose in front. He's had 3 second places and a third so far this evening. He's under pressure because Gusts is winding it on in second place. But the Danish rider in front, Benjamin Basso, is there. But he's going to have to keep going because there's no question that Gusts is trying and working overtime. Roaring around the outside. Very tight indeed.
Yeah, Basso just seems to have eyes in the back of his head. He knows exactly where to ride, just getting in the way. But now Francis Gusts looking for a cutback. He's got plenty of speed when he's in a straight line. He's not afraid to put it out in the dirt into turn 3. Another cutback could be on here.
Oh my goodness, how on earth did he miss him? Very tight indeed. I thought for a moment that Gusts was going to run in the side of Benjamin Basso into the last turn on the lap number 4. Here comes Gusts again, round the outside. Basso though, hangs on. Best race of the night. Easily the best race of the night. Great battle out in front between Basso and Francis Gusts. Really putting on a fine show for us all.
How did Gusts not hit the back of Basso coming in?
I genuinely don't understand it, because he was going straight. I thought for sure he must have had his heart in his mouth, but it didn't deter him at all. He kept going really strongly right to the checkered flag. But Basso picks up his first win of the night and a really important ride from the Danish rider there.
It's fair to say it was a fairly tactical ride, that one, Kelvin.
Yeah, as you said, he had eyes in the back of his head, and he needed to. I thought for a moment there that Gusts was definitely going to do him coming out of the last corner, but it wasn't to be. Basso picks up an impressive win, 3 points. Francis Gusts, the entertainer, in second place, 2 points for him. Gustav Graham picks up the third place. Bruno Belan missing out, but proper speedway there, no question about it, in heat number 19.
Yeah, Basso off the inside makes an electric start, great from him. Gusts, I thought he'd done enough here just with a really, really sharp cutback up the inside, coming from the outside gate, and he just put the pressure on Basso for 4 solid laps. It's the first time tonight we've actually seen him looking a little bit raggedy, maybe just riding a little bit over the edge. And he makes that run up the inside and then makes far too late a decision to back out of it. How he misses Basso, I don't know if this is here where we're looking at it, but yeah, he backs out there. Oh. Big mistake, should have just turned early. Unbelievable.
I think that was more luck than judgment. He didn't just clout the back of Benjamin Basso, but from a spectator point of view and a neutral's point of view, that really was very entertaining indeed. And all of a sudden this track is beginning to settle down, and we're beginning to see some super speedway. Heat number 20, and that will complete the qualifying heats. On the inside in red then we've got Mateusz Cierniak on 7 points. Timo Salonen having a good night, comes out of gate 2 in blue. Wiktor Lampart, 7 points for him, also gate number 3 in white. And Kasper Henriksen will go from the outside. Are we going to see some more fireworks now? I think we will. Some 2 hard charges here and from Poland, that's for sure. Salonen also having a great night, looking good and set fair for the semi-finals. Settling down, away we go. Certainly Cierniak made a really good start there alongside Timi Salonen through that first corner. Cierniak, who was disappointing last time, but Wiktor Lampart back in third place. Henriksen at the back, but Cierniak away from that inside. Oh my goodness, how on earth did Salonen miss the back of Cierniak? That could have ended in tears there. He did remarkably well to stay out of trouble, but out in front, Cierniak is looking really strong now.
Yeah, Wiktor Lampart maybe just settling for 1 point might be enough for him, but Timi Salonen, as you rightly say, chasing back wheels, and rider in red there, Cierniak, looking a little bit more comfortable now. He's out wide, chasing the dirt, not making too many mistakes.
No, he's looking good actually. He's running in deeper, he's keeping a smooth line, dictating terms out in front. They're into the last lap. Salonen there, pretty comfortable in second place. Lampart just holding that inside line. Henriksen has missed out this time, he's at the back. 1 more turn to go. Cierniak there, looking good. Track's looking good, firing himself to the line. Very useful win there for Cierniak. That puts him into the semi-finals. And got to believe so anyway. It's very close, actually, very close tonight. High scores will get you through. 9 points I think you're going to need. And that's truth, in actual fact, with Miśkowiak on 9 and Jonas Knudsen on 9 points as well. So, yeah, it's been a tough night.
Yeah, it has.
So, Timi Salonen, my goodness, he had a really quite an exciting ride there in second place. The result then, Cierniak wins in fine style out in front, 3 points. Timi Salonen, Mr. Entertainer in second place, 2 points for him. Wiktor Lampart back in third, steady. You see the standings after 20 races, 13 points for Kvěch. Gusts on 12, Chlupáč 11, Timi Salonen also on 11, Cierniak doing well on 10, Benjamin Basso coming good there in his last ride on 10, Miśkowiak and Knudsen on 9. They're the top 8, the rest of them will not come to the track again, they will move out. And it has been a tough night to qualify on 9 points. That just shows you how competitive this meeting has been.
Yeah, it has been extremely competitive. Cierniak doing a good job to recover from his fall mid-meeting.
Yeah, he has indeed. Semi-finals coming up. Yeah, well, all of a sudden, a bit of a debrief with some of the established figures in the pits there, but this was another super race here, actually, and now that the track conditions have settled down, Chris, it's coming alive.
It is coming alive. They're really able to get out there and race now. As you say, the track has settled down, and tight in the first turn there from Cierniak and Salonen. And Salonen decides the race is on and decides to go chasing back wheels as they hit turns 3 and 4. See the bike lifts there, and
he was
difficult to say from that angle just how close he was.
He was lucky there. He lifts.
This is where he gets all that good. Oh, I think he's actually, yeah, he's touched him.
Yeah,
he's touched him. He's done well to stay on there.
He has indeed. It was harum scarum, and he was pleased to stay on because he's maintained his consistency tonight, and he's finished on 11 points. Riders still finding it tough out there, but as I say, the action has really warmed up very nicely indeed. And the two boys out in front putting on a good show. And the last couple of heats there in the qualifying races, heat 19 and 20, quite comfortably the best two races of the night so far. And a bit more track grading going on. It's been a tough night, there's no question about that. In the early part of the meeting, the racing wasn't great, but unfortunately with the weather we had this afternoon, it just wasn't going to be. And all credit to all the competitors this evening, because they have put their best foot forward. They showed great commitment to the cause. There hasn't been any dissent, you would suggest, and it's built up very nicely now, and we should be looking forward to 3 more heats of spectacular action.
Yeah, and just looking out down on the terraces, interested spectator in the grandstand is Jason Crump, here to help Robert Lambert in the Speedway Grand Prix tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Jason actually has a wonderful record here, and he went on to win his World Championships after winning here in the Markéta Stadium. I do believe, from memory, he may well have won this Grand Prix 3 years on the spin, so really did have a love affair with the Markéta Stadium for a period of time. So great to see him here, and passing on his wisdom to young Robert Lambert. As I say, riders will be just gathering themselves. The riders that are in the top 8, of course, will be now beginning to think about what start positions they may have, or they have the choice of. Of course, Kvěch and Francis Gusts are going to have the luxury of first pick in the 2 semi-finals coming up as a consequence their performances so far. But we can see some more highlights of what we've seen so far this evening. There's just a brief look back at what we've witnessed so far, and I must say the last few races, the last block of races, have improved immensely after all the work that's gone into making this Markéta Stadium and the track in particular just that little bit better to ride, and we're seeing riders immediately gaining in confidence.
We'll be looking at the gate picks coming up for the semi-finals. Kelvin, I've got to ask you, the gate positions have evened themselves up throughout the night. What would you be thinking right now?
I think if I was in the first semi-final, I'd go for gate 1. I think with the freshly prepared track, there might just be enough material on the inside to just drag you around and keep your nose in front. First and second, of course, is what you need to make the final. Second semi-final, I think possibly I might look for maybe an outside start, but fortunately I haven't got to make that decision this evening.
No.
So we've got the draw coming up very shortly indeed.
Okay, we now have the draw for the semi-final 1. First choice have Jan Kvěch.
He's had a good night, Jan, and
brave. No, teasing us.
No, he goes from the inside.
Number 201, Jan Kvěch, takes red.
Inside gate for them.
Next one is Petr Chlupáč.
So Chlupáč also having a good night. He'll go from gate number 2.
Number 44, Petr Chlupáč, takes blue. Next one, Benjamin Basso. Number 92, Benjamin Basso, takes white. Last choice, have Jonas Knudsen. Number 408, Jonas Knudsen, takes yellow.
Semi-final number 1 then. Kvěch on the inside, Chlupáč in gate 2, Basso in gate 3, and Knudsen off the outside. As we expected pretty much there. Kvěch, the leader, taking that inside gate. Local knowledge, and both of the Czech Republic riders going side by side in semi-final number 1. Waiting for the boys to come forward for semi-final number 2 now. And interesting to see if there's the lineup there. Kvěch on the inside in red, Chlupáč in blue, Benjamin Basso comes out of gate 3 in white, and Jonas Knudsen will go from the outside in yellow.
First choice, semi-final 2, Francis Gusts. Number 2, Francis Gusts, is taking red. Second choice, have Timi Salonen. Number 281, Timi Salonen, takes yellow. Next choice, Mateusz Cierniak. Number 842, Mateusz Cierniak, is taking blue. Last choice, Jakub Miśkowiak. Number 515, Jakub Miśkowiak, takes white.
So there we are with semi-final number 2, and the draw is done. Francis Gusts had no hesitation to go to the inside, but Timi Salonen there deciding to go for the outside gate. Here we see it then. Inside is Gusts in red. Mateusz Cierniak goes from gate number 2 in blue. Miśkowiak from gate number 3 in white, and Timi Salonen from the outside is semi-final number 2. Quite possibly could be quite a savvy move that. We will wait and see, because the track will have evolved a little bit, and a little bit more grip on the outside may prove to be the right place to be. We're just having a little look down in the pits here with our pit cams. Some of the riders are clearing away, and some of the riders are still working hard. Francis Gusts, I've got to say, I like the way he's ride. He's certainly, you can see he's young on the bike. There's no question about that with the spirit he shows.
Yeah, he'd looked composed all right until his last one, and he was really getting stuck in. Started looking a little bit raggedy edge in that one.
Well, you can forgive him. He's a youngster, and you know, but
I like
it was when he rolled the throttle off going into turn 1 behind. I mean, I thought for a moment it was going to be curtains for him, but he was a little bit fortunate just to miss the back of Basso. And it's some tense times now. These riders have ridden very nicely. They've done the hard yard so far. It's been a difficult night, but they've maintained a high standards. And they've worked their hard, particularly the man here in semi-final number 1, Jan Kvěch, ridden very well, just dropped 2 points out of his qualifying races. And he's on what possibly is the box seat for semi-final 1, Chris, with that inside gate.
Yeah, no question. I think you're absolutely right with the track grading ahead of the semi-finals and the final. The inside has been packed down. There's just that little bit of even traction down there. You can get a good run around the first turn. Don't need to worry too much about moving out too wide. So I think he has got the box seat there.
He has, but he's up against some pretty mean contenders. Certainly his compatriot Petr Chlupáč is riding very nicely as well, and he's going up against him in gate number 2.
Basso finished with a win, so he's going to be a little bit more confident.
Yes, he's ridden steadily and then produced a really good ride at the end there to force his way onto 10 points, and did the job very nicely indeed. So semi-final number 1 then. We're coming down to the business end of this SGP2 opening round here in the Markéta Stadium. It's been a long night, but there's been plenty of reasons. We had a 30-minute delay before racing commenced, and then we've had a few extra grading breaks as well. But there hasn't been any dissent. There's always been a commitment to the cause here this evening, and that's to everybody's credit. So, line up for semi-final number 1 then. On the inside is Miśkowiak in red. Gate number 2, Petr Chlupáč in blue. Benjamin Basso comes out of gate number 3 in white. And Jonas Knudsen goes from the outside in yellow. Track looks a little bit slicker on the outside in this opening semi-final where they've packed it down. So I wait with a lot of interest to see how the bikes react on that run to that first corner. But Kvěch had no hesitation to go to that inside gate.
Dark horse here could be Knudsen on the outside. He's been making better and better starts as the night's gone on.
He has, and his confidence has risen as the track has improved, and he's forced his way into the semi-finals very nicely. And still plenty of points up for grabs here. The green light's on semi-final number 1. Kvěch made a super start from the inside. Chlupáč now chops back to the inside, follows him through. Basso was in all sorts of trouble and he's gone down. Gone down with the red light come on, or will he pick the bike up? All sorts of problems as well in turns number 3 once again. Got to say that Knudsen looked like he had all sorts of problems there. Red light has to come on now.
Yeah, scrappy first lap. Basso going down in turn 1 and Knudsen going down in turn 3.
I think we may well see 2 exclusions here because the red light wasn't on.
No, and Basso wasn't under power.
No, he wasn't, so Basso will definitely go, and I fear that Knudsen also may well be in danger of being thrown out of the race as well. 2 separate incidents. I think the referee was waiting to see if Basso actually got up off the track.
Yeah, we take a look at it again there, and Miśkowiak didn't have a great run to the corner, getting a little bit sideways, but he makes it there, just moves mid-track. We see Basso there, pretty much his own mistake going down. And it's interesting to see what happened to Knudsen. We are hearing that there will only be 2 riders in the rerun, so as long as they can finish the 4 laps, they will be in the final.
I'm just going to wait for the exclusion lights to come on to confirm that, Chris. But
no, there was contact there, but it was his own fault from Basso.
Well, yeah,
he rode into the back of.
Yeah, you've got to say Chlupáč did nothing wrong there at all.
What happens to Jonas Knudsen here? Just runs in. It's his own fault. Fully committed. Runs in on the dirt line. Doesn't get the bike turned. Has to bail out of it.
Yeah, it's been difficult that corner all night long. Still waiting for the referee to confirm those exclusions, so he's probably looking at these pictures just to be doubly sure that
2 separate incidents, both their own fault.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty clear cut, but ordinarily you would see exclusion lights come on before you're absolutely certain that those riders are out of the rerun. But it does look very likely that there will be just the 2 riders back up to tapes for semi-final number 1, and that's a shame because that guarantees them, actually, well, it's not a shame for the 2 riders in the race, of course, because they're going to be very pleased because they're going to go through to the final. But disappointing for the 2 lads that had problems. Basso, certainly after winning his last ride, was looking much more like it.
If it is the case, though, they will have to complete the 4 laps.
Yes, exactly. We are waiting for the decision. I'm not quite sure why we've got a delay now, but I am a little surprised that the exclusion lights for those 2 riders haven't come on. I know I didn't miss them because I was keeping an eye out for them, but it does appear that we are going to get underway again with just the 2 riders here. Last minute adjustments there going on for Petr Chlupáč. Of course, the 2 Czech Republic riders are going to have, and the fans will be delighted in the fact they're going to have 2 representatives through to the final now, and a 50% chance of a winner in the opening round of the SGP2 series, which is fairly healthy odds, I would suggest, isn't it? Pretty good, pretty good percentages. Chlupáč there. Obviously, the race director here, Rennie Schaefer, been quite kind to the riders to give them this much time, because it wasn't as if those guys had a crash.
There's still a little bit of work going on at the fence, but not too much.
Okay, that would explain the delay, and maybe there's just an issue with the airbag there once again. where Jonas Knudsen piled in there. He's had problems with that corner all night, actually, Knudsen. He did well to make the semi-finals. He'd be kicking himself there because he scrapped hard and really got himself in there in 8th place, and then just got it wrong when it really mattered. And those are the small margins that are the difference between being world champion and not. So he'll pick up some healthy points, of course, because he made the semi-finals. But, of course, he would have been looking for a final here tonight. He had the capabilities, but just caught him out there. This has been a long night for the riders, that's for sure. They've had to maintain their enthusiasm. And
there's been no lack of that throughout the meeting.
No, and that's admirable, I think. I've been really impressed with that. You know, hasn't been easy. One or two guys have really struggled with it, but there's no doubt that on the whole, everybody's shown a really good attitude to the meeting, that's for sure. And I'm sure if we'd had slightly better conditions earlier on, this meeting would have been actually really entertaining. And I think it proves that when we go to Cardiff, we could be in for a really entertaining meeting on the Sunday. So the two riders out. We only have two. We were told early on that we were only going to get two, but I didn't see an exclusion light comes on. But the two Czech Republic riders are up at the tapes. Jan Kvěch on the inside in his red helmet colour, and of course Petr Šulpák there in gate number 2 in blue. And as I say, as long as they complete the 4 laps at racing speed, these two riders who ride for this club will go through to the final. So there we see the lineup. Kvěch on the inside in red, Šulpák in gate 2 in blue. Excluded is Benjamin Basso and Jonas Knudsen. So, Chris, what do you do now? Win the race to get a good pick for the final? That's what you've got to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're going to want that gate pick in the final. You know, the track has changed a little bit, having had 2 races before the final. Yeah, but to be honest, if Kvěch can win this one, I just can't see him moving himself off gate 1, taking control of the race.
Sure. And no track grading before the final, of course. They allow the 3 races to go through, the 2 semi-finals, and then on to the final. So, second time of asking for the semi-final number 1. Tapes are up, and Kvěch has made another good start from the inside. Hits that first corner in front. Šulpák there just moving slightly wider. But Kvěch, once he's hit the front here tonight, it's very unlikely, unless he makes a big mistake, that he's going to relinquish that. Nicely through turns 3 and 4 as he completes the first lap. Once again, he's showing great commitment, looking good on the bike. Good start away from the inside, Chris, and he's looking very, very accomplished now.
Yeah, just enjoy himself out front, and to be honest, in second place in this 2-man race-off, I don't think you'd want to risk going down in tricky conditions, so I can see why Šulpák is just taking in the 4 laps now.
Yeah. He's riding at a good pace, though. It's a proper race, that's for sure. Kvěch out in front, just doing the business. He's been doing the business all night long, in truth. He's shown terrific speed, composure, although he did run a little bit wide there as he starts the last lap. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, indeed. He's going to have to get that bike underway, but he could well be. Oh, my goodness, not quite sure what's going to happen now. Got to get it up.
I think he's got to finish. I think he's got to
finish, otherwise he's got a long way to push it. Yeah, I think I might try and get it running, actually, but
how long has he got?
Not entirely sure, you know. It's
it might be 3 minutes.
One of those situations where he's going to be certainly well and truly out of puff. But he's fallen off at the wrong moment there, isn't he? Because he's going to have to push it a very long way indeed. Kvěch wins the race, and he's safely through to the final. Just when it was all looking very safe and all done and dusted, that man made a mistake.
It comes down to that focus thing, because if he had just settled for just riding around and getting that second place, lost that little bit of focus, too easily done on this track tonight.
Yeah, and he did there, just relaxed momentarily in the first corner on the last lap, bike lifted up violently underneath him and just couldn't save it. But being roundly supported, fans on their feet, and once again we're seeing a rider, but this is an important push home here, because it will see him through to the final. So we had some drama in the race-off. It was all looking quite straightforward.
Should have been straightforward.
And it wasn't. I wonder if he's going to have enough energy
And
for
he
the,
takes a bow.
for the final. But he's under 21, so he must have enough
He'll be
energy.
fine. Recovery rate's much quicker.
Indeed it is. So well done to that man, Petr Chlupáč. Great effort from him. Had a bit of a scare, but the mechanic just coming out to pick up the bike.
He's still smiling.
Yeah, well and truly. So we've got our first two finalists of the evening with Kvěch and Chlupáč. As I said previously, two Czech riders through to the final. That's great news for the home crowd. We'll see it again.
Yeah, another great start from the inside there for Jan Kvěch. Wraps this one up, looks composed, and so was Chlupáč. And I just put the commentator's curse on him by saying, yeah, he's just settled for the second place here. Nice safe route to the semi-final, to the final rather, and then goes and throws it away on the last lap.
Yeah, he did, and he made hard work of it in the end, because certainly tested his lung capacity, pushing the bike round.
Here we see it. Yeah, just on the inside, a rut. Obviously not riding the bike as hard as he maybe would have been if he was chasing Kvěch, and that was possibly his mistake.
Yeah, he just relaxed at that vital moment, but it's a learn. He got away with it. He got away with it because there was only two in the race, so that was very fortunate indeed. Ordinarily, he would have been out of the final. So semi-final number 2 then. On the inside is Francis Gusts in red. Cierniak will come out of gate number 2 in blue. The world champion Miśkowiak comes out of gate number 3 in white. And on the outside, Timi Salonen, who's had a good night as well. And he will go there in the yellow helmet colour. Let's hope that we get 4 riders completing semi-final number 2. Miśkowiak has had a disappointing start to the evening, but his last 3 outings saw him score plenty of points, and he pushed his way and charged up to 9 points and just crept in. 9 points is what you needed. He could ill afford to have dropped that point earlier on. I mean, that really was crucial in the end when he was just cruising around. So semi-final number 2. Here we go. Just on the inside, had that pick. He's there, the Latvian. He's away, he's made a half-sensible start. It's tight going to the first turn, but Gusts has charged through there. He's forced his way through. Cierniak now turning back. Miśkowiak has missed out. Salonen's in third. The world champion at this stage is looking at an unlikely finalist. Gusts on the inside. It was hard in that first corner. He really drilled a hole in the side of Cierniak to make sure he hit the front. Got to say that Gusts is riding nicely out in front now. Cierniak settling in second place. Timi Salonen in third. But, oh, he's running wide there, Cierniak, Chris.
Oh, yeah, and a mistake from Gusts as he lifts, but both Gusts and Cierniak just running out mid-track, going plenty fast enough, pulling away from Salonen. I really thought Timi Salonen might take this race to the pair of them, but just not able to keep the pace.
No, he hasn't been. It's looking like it's going to be disappointment for the world champion, just missing out. It hasn't been a great night, but isn't going to make the final here this evening. But for Francis Gusts and Mateusz Cierniak, they're looking set fair to make the first final of the year here in SGP2. Out of the last corner, Francis Gusts really determined on the opening lap. That first turn, he dictated terms, made it his, and picks up a fine win in the semi-final. Cierniak back in second place, safely through as well. Timi Salonen and Jakub Miśkowiak missing out. Disappointment for the world champion. Picks up some healthy points, but he wanted more. He would have desperately wanted to have made the final here this evening. But for that man, Francis Gusts, he could very well take it to Jan Kvěch. Could be one real tear-up in the final, that's for sure. Francis Gusts wins. Fine start, he's through. Mateusz Cierniak also joins him in the final. Timi Salonen and Jakub Miśkowiak just missing out.
Such an even break to the first turn. Everyone just getting it right. Elbows out. Here we see it from the inside there. Francis Gusts just clatters into the side of Mateusz Cierniak. And he does a good job, though. He just gets it back down to the line, stops the run of Cierniak as he looks for a cutback. We can see there the bike just turns to the right, elbows out, clatters into him. He could have gone down. It could have been all 4 back or even an exclusion had he have hit him hard enough. But,
well, I think if he had hit him, then he'd gone down. I think Gusts could have been in trouble there,
absolutely.
in actual fact, but he forced his way to the front.
They're both riding mid-track later on in the race, just plenty of speed, and I thought for a moment that Timi Salonen might be able to join this race, but both him and the reigning champion Miśkowiak just tailing off at the back.
Yes, not Not quite what the doctor ordered for Jakub Miśkowiak. Just shows you how competitive this series is going to be. And he'll have to wait patiently now for August when he'll move on to the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, where we'll see him back in action on the Sunday after the Grand Prix on Saturday night. And SGP2 now coming towards its conclusion on the opening round in the Markéta Stadium. It's been a long night, it's been a tough night, but there's no question that we've seen some fine speedway in the last 4 or 5 races.
Yeah, without doubt, in tough conditions, these guys have given it their all. There's been, as you say, nobody's been out on the track making too much fuss. Of course, turn 3 was difficult, and of course, the organisers made all the right decisions to sort the track out as quickly and as best they could.
Yeah, there isn't too much more they could have done. Possibly could have graded a little bit earlier, but that's just splitting hairs. But all in all, as I say, the weather earlier on today was looking quite threatening. I think if we'd actually had another downpour, we may well have seen this meeting postponed. But so it's good for everybody concerned that we get to this stage. This is crunch time.
Still panting fairly hard though, Chlupáč there after his little run around.
Yeah, I would have had to have oxygen actually,
absolutely.
because that was quite an effort from him. He was off the bike in turn 2, so it was a fairly long push and charge to the finish line. Selina Liebman there clearly has enjoyed her night, picked up some useful points. She finished on 4 points, so congratulations to her on her debut in the World Championship. She has not disgraced herself at all.
So, Kvěch, gate 1?
I think he probably will go there, actually. You know, he's got good memories of it. He's come out of there in the semi-final. It'd be a brave move for him to now move to the outside, although I think the outside probably could work now. And now we're on to the draw for the final.
We are here for the final gate choice. First choice have Kvěch.
Teasing us.
Number 201, Kvěch takes red. Second choice have Gusts. Number 2, Gusts takes blue. Third choice have Petr Chlupáč. Number 44, Petr Chlupáč takes yellow. Last choice have Mateusz Cierniak. Number 842, Mateusz Cierniak takes white.
So there we are then. The big final of the night, the first final of the season for the SGP2 series. The draw has been made. Kvěch resisted the temptation to move to the outside. We will see it confirmed very shortly now with the lineup. Kvěch on the inside in red. Gusts going from gate 2 in blue. Mateusz Cierniak from Poland will go from gate number 3. And Petr Chlupáč from the Czech Republic, who rides for this club, he will go from gate number 4. Tense times now, Chris.
Yeah, so Gusts, gate 2, he's going to have to get both elbows out on the way to the corner for this one.
Yeah, I don't think he'll hesitate in that card. We saw him certainly do the business in the semi-final. He made that first corner his. A determined move that stamped his authority on the semi-final. Moved to the front. Kvěch now won't want to let this slip. He has been the man to beat all night and has dominated pretty much, and he won't want to trip up at the final hurdle. Got to remain composed. He's got that inside gate. Be keeping his fingers crossed that he can get away well, and then just maybe move to the middle of the track in that first corner and cover all the angles. Petr Chlupáč still just recovering from that push to get himself into the final, of course, from his semi-final. He won't want to relax this time. He won't want to be doing that too many times, will you?
No.
Having to push the bike home.
I think he'll be the last one out for this final.
Yeah.
Take all the time he can.
Yeah, use every second he can before being up at the tapes. And it's a big final. Everybody has been very patient. They have remained in the stadium. They want to see the conclusion of the opening round. the new era of Speedway with Discovery Sports Events in having introduced this new SGP2 series in conjunction with the SGP, of course, and gives these guys the opportunity to be in the spotlight. And we are seeing riders of good talent and ability, and it looks like we're set fair for the future as well with these guys coming through.
Yeah, really looking forward to the other 2 rounds in Cardiff and Torrent. Yeah, it's been ultra competitive, and I think you're absolutely right, Kelvin, when you say, you know, if they get a perfect racetrack, we're in for some treats.
Yeah, we are. You know, as soon as the track improves, the racing just exploded into action, and we saw how good these guys are. And we've got plenty of talent at this level. Kvěch is a rider that really has improved, and we'll see him again tomorrow. He'll have to rest up after this, of course, but his main focus will obviously be on the SGP2 series, because he's in for the duration. He's the wild card in the main Grand Prix tomorrow night. So it's final time then. Last 4 laps of the evening, and as you rightly said, Petr Chlupáč is not rushing out.
No, taking his time. I don't blame him.
No, he's done the right thing there. So we will see if the decisions for the gate positions prove to be correct. Final time in the Markéta here this evening. It's been a long night, hard night, but we've got to the last race, which is great news. A thrilling final here in prospect, that's for sure. There's no question that Francis Gusts has been riding really well. Cierniak has come on strong later in the meeting, really looking determined as well. Chlupáč, well, he's ridden nicely. Gonna have to take a few deep breaths just to recover from his efforts and exertions in his semi-final. Tense moments, as I say. Line up for the final. On the inside is Kvěch in red. Francis Gusts will go out of gate number 2 in blue. Mateusz Cierniak will come out of gate number 3 in white. And on the outside in yellow is Petr Chlupáč. Will that prove to be a good place? Maybe the grip in the outside, but it does look like it's gone a long way out. Might prove to be too much of a challenge, but there's no question that these youngsters only know one way on the throttle. He's going to wind it on there for sure.
Well, Kvěch is the favourite, I think, in this one. He's got local knowledge, he's topped the scorecard, he's got the favoured inside gate. Who's going to take it to him, Kelvin?
I think Gusts will have a really good go. I think the way he rode in the semi-final, the way he's ridden all night, he's ridden with plenty of gusto. And I think he has...
Gusto?
The gusto, yeah, absolutely. And I think he's got the opportunity to do it now. Takes her up, and what a start!
Kvěch's got a problem.
He has indeed. Desperately disappointing drama there on the start line. Gusts hits the front. Cierniak comes through into 2nd place. Chlupáč back in 3rd, and you've got to feel for Kvěch with the mechanical failure.
He's coming hard.
And here he comes now. As Gusts is in front, looking forward, looking good, looking set fair for a win on the night. Going to win the big final if he can just keep it all together. Kvěch there just hunched down on the inside of the track. Desperately disappointing for him. As they go through, they complete 2 laps. Cierniak back in 2nd place, trying the outside line, but it hasn't worked. Although we've got to say,
kicking himself.
Gusts has certainly run very wide indeed.
Yeah, Cierniak just not close enough to take advantage of that mistake from Gusts.
There's a lap to go. Cierniak now coming on strong, winding it on round the outside, dropping back to the inside. Brilliant ride from Cierniak. Really stunning move there on the last lap, through the last corner. Yes, Mateusz Cierniak wins in stunning style, wins the opening round of the SGP2 series here in the Markéta. What a performance from the Polish rider. Has got better and better the longer the night's gone on. That was a stunning performance in the conclusion of this opening round.
Made so much ground up mid-race. Thought he'd thrown it away, but a couple of mistakes from Gusts, and Cierniak took full advantage of that brilliant ride from him.
It was indeed. Celebrates with a big wheelie down the start and finish straight. The home crowd must have fancied their chances with a winner here this evening with 2 representatives. But you've got to feel for Kvěch with the problems on the start. That was an opportunity for him, but racing can be cruel to you at times. But for that man, the spoils are his. riding so well, I thought for a moment that he was just too far back, but he gained so much speed on that last lap, and his efforts in that first and second corner on the last lap, that was top draw Speedway there, Chris.
Yeah, he showed so much maturity. He was just working the track, he was working out Gus, working out where the mistakes were coming.
So the result of the big final, Cierniak wins in fine style. Francis Gusts back in second place, Petr Chlupáč in third, and Jan Kvěch just retired on the start line there. But all of a sudden, Poland once again, they continue on with fine form at this level. It was looking unlikely earlier on with the Poles actually struggling, but Mateusz Cierniak has come through in fine style.
Devastation for Jan Kvěch here at the start. Mechanical problem there. Not sure what happened, but I'm sure this would have been a three-man race out front if he'd have joined the race. But Gus hits the front, and I've got to say, after the first couple of laps, you think, yeah, he's got enough, big enough lead. He's not going to give this away. I think it's the cutouts come out. Yeah, the cutouts come out, and the bike has just stopped. That's unbelievably bad luck.
Desperately bad luck for Jan Kvěch, the favourite before the final. Must have just got caught up.
Here we see the race now with Cierniak just working the track now. That was the right idea, the cut back up the inside. Perfectly timed move. And he was just waiting for that. He was waiting for the mistakes. And when they came, he took full advantage of them.
And he just got that little bit of fresh material on the inside there, and it just worked a treat for him. Absolutely perfect moment, and he knows now in his mind that the race is his. Gusts is trying to come back at him hard, but Cierniak on the run to the line, you can see he's got it there.
He's celebrating halfway around the corner.
He just knew he had it in the bag. Delighted with that move, and Chris, you're right, that was an absolutely perfectly timed moves on the last lap.
Yeah, he could have just tried to keep the momentum around the outside, but I know his run would have been stopped by Gus, so it was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, smashing right there. Commiserations for that man. Well, he must have been caught up round his glove or something, because as he turned the throttle on, it's pulled the cutout out, and that's killed the engine on the start line. So desperate there for Jan Kvěch, but for that man, the spoils are his. He wins the opening round here in the Markéta Stadium in Prague tonight. See the point scores here. 20 big World Championships for Cierniak. Gusts on 18, Chlupáč 16, Kvěch picks up 14, Salonen 12, Basso 11, Miśkowiak 10, and Knudsen 9. And then for the minor placings, it was 8 for Lampart, Swiecki on 7, Henriksen 6, Gran on 5, Pedersen on 4, Liebman 3 World Championship points, Daniel Klima 2, and Bruno Brennan the solitary point. But got to say, that was a fitting way to end this SGP2 opening round of the World Championship. Smashing way to finish the night. We can get down to the pits now. We can get some reaction with the winner, Mateusz Cierniak.
Mateusz Cierniak, the winner here in the Prague. The dreams come true, Mateusz. How do you feel?
Very good. Today is a very hard day. All day on stadium, but now I feel very good, and it's my little dream.
This is your evening, this is your night. Could you tell us something about this last lap, about this maneuver that you made?
It's unbelievable. I can't tell how I do it. Okay.
Okay. Mateusz, now if you want, you can speak some few sentences in Polish. Możesz mu powiedzieć teraz parę słów po polsku, bo jest tutaj sporo polskich kibiców.
Dziękuję bardzo wszystkim, którzy tutaj są, że byli ze mną, wierzyli we mnie tak jak ja w siebie. I co, niedługo, w zasadzie nie tak niedługo, ale widzimy się w Cardiff, mam nadzieję, i trzymajcie dalej za mnie kciuki. Bardzo dziękuję.
Congratulations one more time, Mateusz Cierniak, the winner here in Prague.
Yes, super effort in the final there from Cierniak, and clearly almost a bit overwhelmed with his performance. Didn't quite know how he did it. When he watches it back, he'll be really pleased with what he did, because it was a stunning move on the last lap of the final. What a way to win the opening round of the SGP2 series.
Cracking ride, fully deserved it.
Yes, he did, and picks up the 20 World Championship points. Mentioned there in Polish that he's moving on to Cardiff, and he's very much looking forward to that. Third place on the night goes to Petr Chlupáč.
Petr, Chlupáč, Czech Republic!
Super evening for him, Chris. He'll be pleased with that to be on the rostrum.
Yeah, fantastic night for him. Really in the mix. Difficult to run into the final with that long walk he had to do with his bike.
Francis Gusts has been good all night long. Just couldn't quite hang on out in front.
Now for our second rider from Latvia, Francis Gusts.
Must have felt that he was going to win the final, but he couldn't legislate for that move from Cierniak.
And finally, it's the time to invite to the podium the best rider and king of Prague from Poland.
Mateusz
Cierniak.
Mateusz Cierniak, the winner on the night. Terrific effort from him. Really did have us on the edge of our seats in the latter stages of the final. Really did race right to the checkered flag.
Now let's get ready to hear the national anthem of Poland. Nyní zazní hymna Polské republiky.
So many congratulations to all three riders. It's been a long night for them.
Three riders to receive the desired trophies.
It's been a great effort from all concerned, but these three, they will get all the spoils. Now they get the trophies.
Third place trophy presented by Pavel Ondrašík, Sport Director Autoklub Markéta. Trofej za třetí místo předává Pavel Ondrašík, sportovní ředitel Autoklubu Markéta.
Some very nice glassware there. Coming forward, Pavel Ondrašík, who runs the club here now these days. Good rider in his day as well. Chlupáč, third place on the night.
Second place trophy presented by Tony Olson, FIM jury president. Trofej za druhé místo předává Tony Olson, jury president FIM.
Tony Olson coming forward there to present Francis Gusts with his prize on the night, second place. Very good
Last
effort.
place trophy presented by Jan Štovíček, FIM board member, Autoklub Czech Republic president. Trofej za první místo předává Jan Štovíček, člen vedení FIM a prezident Autoklubu České republiky.
Great moments here now for the young Mateusz Cierniak. Quite clearly delighted with his win, probably just beginning to sink in now as he looks at that beautiful bit of crystal presented to him. Pictures for the press.
For our top three riders to take the official photos.
Yeah, photos that will now go around the world for the result of the opening round of the SGP2 series. And I say, Chris, you know,
And now champagne.
we've had to be patient, but it certainly finished in fine style. It was a thrilling final.
It was a thrilling final. Frustration for Kvěch at the start, breaking down. Frustration for Francis Gusts getting overtaken on the last lap, but you can take nothing away from the man on the top step of the podium, Mateusz Cierniak. Fantastic ride. Only had one round last year in the World Under-21 Championship and finished second in that as a wild card. So he would have known he had this result in him.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly had the credibility, a strong round last year, as you say, and coming into the opening round, winning it. He's given himself, with 2 rounds to go, every chance of trying to achieve his goal of winning the World Championship. The ideal start. But as we've seen tonight, this series is going to be highly competitive for the last 2 rounds. There's no question of that. And you're going to have to maintain very high standards if you want to pick up the gold medal at the end and the conclusion in Torun in October. But there's no question that these three riders are going to have a major part to play in this championship chase. You've got to believe that they're going to be very competitive and in the chase for the gold medal throughout the next two meetings.
Yeah, two very different tracks to come in Cardiff and Torrent, very, very different. So, you know, you're going to have to be able to master them all.
Indeed it is. It's been a long night, but it's been a terrific way to finish here in the Markéta Stadium. Thoroughly enjoyable in the end. We had to be patient earlier on, but that man really stole the show in the end, coming through in fine style to win this opening round. Congratulations to him. We will see him in the Principality Stadium in August in Cardiff.
SGP2 round. See you in Cardiff. See you tomorrow here in Prague. It will be Grand Prix.